The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcast, the best show about tokusatsu you probably never heard of. As always, I'm AJ, that's Jay.
You guys remember that time the Punisher was a black guy?
Which time?
The first time.
Wait, what?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the third time.
Oh yeah, the Punisher was a black guy for a couple issues. It was weird.
That's Chad.
Why, AJ? Rewatching this season, why are you making me hate it? Gaim is the best, you heathen. And now you're making me hate it, you son of a bitch.
You know what? I really hope I get a comment like that on Twitter.
Yeah, just kidding, but hey, it's me. And, yeah, it was Gaim, so that's cool.
And over there, wanted in at least 40 states for drug peddling to minors, Phil.
Damn right, and I'll say this: that more shows,
more
shows need overly muscular, flamboyant, mercenary pastry chefs. They need more of that.
Are you sure you're not gay, Phil?
Yes!
You know what? I wasn't gonna say it, but I was certainly thinking it.
I mean, listen, look, I agree with you. But, I mean, come on, Phil.
What else were you...
Jay, it's like you said the last time. He's like just so in the closet, it's not even funny.
No. He said Phil would be so in the closet he wouldn't even be in the same building.
Yeah.
He's right. He's not wrong about any of this. Great way to start. So, yes, if you haven't read the title because you can't read, I don't know how you got here, by the way. If you haven't read the title,
how many times have we done that joke?
You know what? If someone accidentally found this on
at least
Spotify,
twice.
like on their autoplay, then you know what? That's probably a legitimate reason.
It's
well,
reasonable.
I mean, hey, we are technically rated 5 stars on Spotify last time I checked.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. We're better than that one. You know what we're talking about. Anyways.
They know.
So, yes, we are doing after, how many years has it been since Gaim came out?
It has been about
7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5, 2 weeks and 17 hours?
Pretty
Okay.
much.
So, since the first time we did this, which was not 7 years ago, it was actually when this podcast started. What the fuck? So 6 years, right? I think?
5 or 6 years,
yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So when we first did it, it's been a while, trust us.
Wasn't the first time we tried to do it in 2016?
Who cares?
Something like that, but it was like 2 years after the show ended, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yes, we are doing Kamen Rider Gaim. But, before anything, which subs did we use, guys? Which subs did we use?
Well, we used I personally used what it was objectively the best choice, which was OZC's
Acer.
Blu-ray rips using mostly Acers with a lot of fixes and patchwork done to it, which is probably objectively the best way to watch the show because I mean it's relatively speaking it's a fairly solid translation still, but it removes a lot of the most egregious translation errors and terminology choices from the original.
What terminology choices, Jay?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah.
You seem like you're turning a shade of magenta.
I watched OZC. I used OZC with the I think it was the reformed, refined, or definitive. I don't know what it was called. Subs. Some of them, when the Overlords came out, it said it would have some of the translations from the Femshu language, but I never saw it. At least not when I was watching it. It always felt
that was a separate sub track. I used the translated one, which get this right off the bat. You don't really need to watch it with or without because what they say is completely irrelevant. It's not important.
You don't say.
He's right.
Jay, tell me it isn't so.
The only time I actually turned on the Acer subs themselves was when Ryoma was around. And unfortunately, I got disappointed because they fixed it. I wanted to see Dr. Waring stay.
Yeah. You know what, Jay? Let's just get it out of the way before anything.
Yeah, that was a weird thing that I did notice going through is that although they claim that it is the original Acer experience, they removed the Waring driver and Ryoma
Dr.
Waring. They fucking kept Ornak for some reason.
Because it's funny.
But they removed a lot of the other different names. So if you're not aware, if you don't know what we're talking about,
this is gonna be like an entire separate video I'm gonna put up, by the way.
The fandom war that occurred around Gaim, the infamous Sub Goku war, of which we are still feeling the aftermaths of today. Let me give you the quick version so we can get to the show.
Yeah.
So back in 2013, we didn't have all these extra groups we do now. We didn't have Flame, we didn't have Izu, we didn't have Genom Corp, understandably, which would be weird if they did.
They're not supposed to know about that.
We didn't have Excite, we didn't have any of these other groups. We had TV Nihon, and we had Overtime, basically. There was a couple like smaller groups, but they weren't doing like the weekly stuff. So in terms
And we
of the
definitely
weekly
did not
stuff,
have Orange Lion.
No, well, I mean, even when we had Orange Lion, we didn't have Orange Lion. So what happened is that Overtime decided that they were not going to sub Gaim. Now they did not give any official reason as to why when they announced that they weren't going to do the show. They just said, "We've decided that we're not going to translate the show this season." As we later found out, it was because the group's lead translator, Heat Metal, was a big baby crybaby bitch, and it was like, the suits look like shit. I don't want to do the show. We're skipping it. Which, on one hand, is good enough reason as any, because he's doing this for free as a fan for other fans, and he doesn't need to have any good reason, which, fine. But at the same time, trying to be nice and professional and giving like a really half-assed excuse and then having to have that leaked out later, it kind of set a bad precedent, which even nowadays they're still really showing. But besides the point, luckily, as we all thought, there was another group that was around called Acer. Acer is a group that really hasn't done anything, or hadn't done anything, I guess, up to that point. They did Forze, they did Wizard, and I think that was it before Gaim. Acer was basically just Diet Overtime in the sense that 90% of their staff was exactly the same as Overtime. The only difference is that they had a different translator, a man who went by the name of Magenta.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend, the fruit, Magenta.
Let's get so.
You're not even wrong there, but we'll get to that at the end of the story. Now, Magenta was already not a particularly popular person, mostly because as a translator, he's fine. He clearly has an understanding of the language enough to be able to translate it, but he has a problem where, much like early Overtime did, he felt the need to over-translate and translate what was not necessary at points. Like, if there was a joke, and it's a fairly understandable joke, but it's like a language kind of joke, or it's a cultural joke, he would just, instead of trying to, make it, figure out a way to explain it to an English audience without having to put translator notes, he would just fucking make up a new joke completely that didn't fit. Or, more infamously, he had a very strong... He was a very opinionated, politically minded individual who liked to put his personal beliefs into the script where they didn't belong. Now, I can't think of many instances that he did this. He did this fairly occasionally, The only instance I can think of immediately off the top of my head was in Forze, where there was a couple of episodes where he completely changed Tomoko's lines and turned her into like a ridiculously obnoxious, like stereotypical rad femme kind of character, which doesn't fit with her character at all. But the man already was not very popular. So when Acer comes along and he's like, hey, we're going to be translating Gaim, this incredibly Japanese culture-centric show of this already Japanese culture-centric franchise. Needless to say, a majority of the fan base was like, all right, if we're going to watch your shit, you have to follow these specific rules or we're going to murder you. You follow these very simple guidelines and we'll watch your shit, okay? And he was like, cool, got it. Literally, the first episode comes out, and he's already ignoring it, because he changes the name of the Sengoku driver to the Warring driver, which, quick Japanese translation guide. Sengoku, roughly speaking, means, like, Civil War. It says it's the Civil War era, Sengoku era.
Period.
So
technically, it's period, but I don't like correcting.
Era, period, whatever. Not important.
Yeah,
Semantics.
it's semantics. It's just semantics.
If you want to be even more if you really want to be just even more technical about it, the Sengoku they use to write for the Sengoku driver doesn't even refer to the Sengoku Jidai or the Sengoku period of Japan. So just
well, I was actually getting to that.
Sorry.
He changed the name, which, for starters, he shouldn't have done because it's written in katakana, which means that you're supposed to be reading it as Sengoku. It's not supposed to be the actual word itself. You're supposed to read it as that. But people got mad because why the fuck did you change it? You didn't need to change that. That's breaking one of the rules. That's breaking a basic translation rule. And this motherfucker's excuse, and I swear to God, this is true, and I have the entire post-chain screen capped.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Because he said, and I quote, I didn't need to keep the name the same because it's not a proper noun since there's more than one belt.
What?
Which is not how grammar works.
No, it does not.
Now, on paper, yes, a proper noun refers to a specific instance of something. If there are multiples, sure, it's technically not a proper noun, but it is referring to multiple of a specific item or a specific, like, unique item. If it were referring to multiple belts, just generic belts, it's fine, but it's a specifically named belt that he is referring to. It'd be like if you fucking changed Optimus Prime's name because there's more than one Optimus Prime. It doesn't work that way. That's not how language works. So already, be that as it may, the name change wouldn't be as egregious if the motherfucker didn't put a fucking umlaut A into there. So it's supposed to be read as the fucking wearing driver. So immediately we're all in for a bad time here. And it just kept getting worse because I can't remember every single stupid one because there was a lot of really, really stupid decisions that he made. Of course, Ornak, as I've gotten angry about before in the past.
Ornak is a fucking classic.
Ornak is a fucking stupid one because the show itself explains the joke 10 seconds after he says the name, so changing the name is not necessary. All it does is make you look like an asshole. But yes, the wearing driver one was an infamous one, and I do remember him, after we found out that it was named after Professor Sengoku, that he changed his name as well, but again, the OZC subs have his name as Sengoku, and I could not find the originals just to verify.
You should try looking on their actual website.
I tried, but I'm sure all those torrents are probably dead by now. But, and of course, and if you're wondering, this is where the Professor Warren Statesman meme comes from, because they changed his name. Because they changed his they kept changing his name further as like a joke. You know, not the subs did, but fans came up with the name as a joke to make fun of him. And it just kept going from there, and getting really bad and really egregious, and Magenta's attitude and just kind of overall behavior really just kept compounding the issues. So this is where we get to the fun part of the Sub Goku era, where people got so fucking fed up of Magenta's bullshit, even if it was like, oh, Ornak's name is only said once in this episode. People would download his scripts just to scrub the names back to the original terminology and then re-upload.
Oh my god.
It would get to that point where people would be doing their own fixes, different fixes, changing some things, changing other things. You had other people doing their own translations. You had other people just doing full rewrites based off of Acer's subs. You had some people taking TV Nihon stuff and doing scrub jobs on that just to get avoid as much as Acer as possible. And then it got really fucking ridiculous when we had people doing scrub jobs of previous existing scrub jobs of unique translations, all of which usually only lasted like an episode or two because, surprise, surprise, translating is much harder than it seems. It got really, really unnecessarily intense and insane, and it's one of my favorite examples of this is serious business in like a fan base. Like translation is serious business, guys. This is why people put in this effort and got so absolutely insane. I don't think anybody who like started up around that time is still around. I think Ragnarok stuck around for a little while to do Blade, but he kind of disappeared around the time of Xaid, so I don't really remember if he's doing anything, which is a shame because he was kind of a cool guy. But yeah, that's the long and short of the Sub Goku era. Is that, and of course, at the end of the day, most of the people who were involved kind of gave up by the end because Gaim by the end was just kind of
a mess.
Well, we'll get to that. So where does this story go from here? Well, Overtime didn't learn their lesson, as we all know, because they gave up on Xaid. For the exact same reason of it looks like shit. I don't want to do it. Thankfully, we didn't get another one because Excite showed up immediately. It was like, hey, we're just gonna fucking do it, and they were good, and their subs didn't suck, and they also listened to people's complaints, so there was no reason to do anything. And then they skipped Saber, understandably, and then they skipped Revice because Heat is a big baby crybaby bitch, and now we're here. TV Nihon also
it almost happened again with Build though. Where there's like a few people coming out for no reason just doing Build.
It kind of was for a little while, but I don't think that was necessarily the same thing. I think it was just kind of everybody wanted to do Build for whatever reason.
Yeah. It wasn't we're so sick of your shit, we're going to do it ourselves.
It wasn't a full-on Civil War rebellion because the translators were just that incompetent.
Don't say no, just sub more.
Yes, don't say no, just sub more. I mean, that fucking video got delisted because of YouTube. Dude. YouTube got rid of all of the unlisted videos. I was looking for that video the other day, and I found out that's right because they made all unlisted videos private now. I can't find it anymore. It was so funny.
That was how I watched Gaim the first time.
I mean, dude, fucking the Ornak reaction video. Might as well just call it Master Rider now.
Yeah.
You know what the weird thing was? When I watched Gaim... Sorry, go on, Jay.
Let me finish up the Sub Goku War story so we can actually get to the show. So beyond that, TV Nihon somehow learned a lesson from this because Takenoko also, this was around the time when TV Nihon was starting to get exposure for being a bunch of gigantic shitheads, and by TV Nihon I mean Takenoko because Takenoko is a gigantic shithead.
Oh, we're gonna get canceled.
No. This is fair because he did a lot of not bueno stuff on his forum because For starters, he used to harass people who started trying to do fan subs for a while because he was really controlling, and it wasn't really until Overtime came along that anybody kind of really was like, go fuck yourself to him. But he is just kind of like an egotistical dickhead on the forums. Like, he would insult people because like he's an idiot and he wouldn't pick up on something, and then somebody would like, oh yeah, this and this and this, explain it, or be like, oh yeah, that we already knew that, and then he'd get mad about it. But this is not about Takenoko. He somehow learned his lesson from all of this because he got another translator to pick up his slack, finally. And TV Nihon was, like, decent for a few years until they finally got shut down.
When did they get shut down?
They got shut... Oh,
like last
yeah,
year
the
with
whole
the
Shirokura...
DMCA.
Yeah, that whole dealio on Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah. And whatever happened to Magenta, I guess.
He went to the fucking Shadow Realm where he belongs.
Pretty much. So Magenta, as I alluded to, was a very politically minded individual, and I remember him just kind of like giving up on translation and writer in general because of Gaim's ending, because much like the Tumblr crowd, oh boo-hoo, it's symbolism. I don't like this symbolism because it's, you know, blah 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 blah. So he kind of stopped doing subbing after that. Mostly, well, not that I don't blame him, because nobody would watch his stuff after Gaim anyways. And then, and as loath as I am to bring it up, it is unfortunately necessary for this story, because this is when fucking Gamergate started.
Oh, no.
And Magenta got really, really super turbo invested in Gamergate. Specifically, he was one of those guys who would scream incessantly about how, those evil Gamergaters are bad, journalism, blah, blah. He was one of
so
those
it's
guys...
Magenta who works in prison schools.
Yeah. Yes, Magenta was one of those hardcore anti-GG kind of guys, to the point where he was literally incapable of going like 5 minutes without screaming and crying about how bad it was, to the point where they, and this is confirmed, I remember this happening, they had to fucking ban his ass from the Overtime chat because he couldn't shut the fuck up about it. And he basically ostracized every single other person in the fan subbing community because he could not shut the ever-loving fuck up about this stupid internet drama bullshit.
He would fit perfectly well with Twitter now.
Well, I was about to say, because he also did the and AJ, you can cut this one at your discretion. He did the internet transgender thing, by which I mean he told everybody to start calling him a girl, and then changed literally absolutely nothing else about his behavior or personality.
Oh, no.
You know what? I'm gonna leave it in, but I'm gonna just put in a bunch of bleeps, and people can just find out what it is.
Well, that's kind of the end of the story, because like a couple of weeks or so later, he just kind of stopped posting. He's just kind of gone. He might still be around under like a different identity. He maybe he fucking got off the internet and got like a real job. I don't know.
No, that's the thing. Like he's not Magenta anymore. He's like Lavender. By the way,
Possibly.
Magenta, if you're still out there and you somehow hear this, because I'm going to be putting this as a separate thing on YouTube. If you hear this, message us. I'm going to laugh at you, but message us. We want to know, what have you been up to, dude? Are you dead? Are you behind a fucking are you behind TV Nihon? What's going on here, buddy?
Were you behind Subaru Kimura's blackface photos? Did you take those photos?
You know what? He would be.
I can just picture this this Magenta being like, "You guys are making fun of me. I gotta type incessantly. I gotta cry to my fans on the internet."
What friends?
What
You
fans?
joke, but that's basically what he was like.
Phil is
But
not a
yeah,
proper
you know what?
noun.
If it would be interesting to see if one, he's still around, and two, what he's been up to. You know, as much as easy it is to rag on him because he was a piece of shit, and he most likely still is. I do kind of want to know whatever happened to him.
Was he the reason?
Actually, he just became.
Sorry, AJ.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, he got mogged recently by Chad. He's probably the only person who would pipe.
So on to the show. Now that we've spent 20 minutes of rambling about dumb fandom bullshit.
I mean, to be fair,
which we're going to be doing more of anyways.
Now, I was going to say, to be fair, it pretty much mirrors my thoughts on the show as a whole. Anyways, so yes, let's get right into Kamen Rider Gaim. Should we just go right into the? All right, so story time. People dance, then it becomes Madoka Magica for a couple seconds, and then Butcher read the Bible. And that's how we're here. So let's get right into the characters.
So we start. So like the first 13 episodes are West Side Story meets Pokemon, and then it basically just becomes Madoka for a hot minute, and
then it becomes Bible stories with Butcher.
Basically,
let's start with our boy here. Let's start with Kota, aka Gentaro in the wrong fucking show. Is that a hot take?
Not really.
Is that a hot take?
No,
it's pretty accurate. No. Actually, hold on. No, I wouldn't say that's accurate. He's Gentaro with more tears.
Yes,
I have a water bottle full of his tears right with me.
So again, let me explain myself a bit. So, for example, Gentaro and Kota have a lot in common in the sense that they don't have a lot to their character, but Gentaro fits in his story because it's not a very super grounded story, and a lot of the people that he interacts with are not steadfast in their ways, so you would believe that his talk no jutsu would work. Kota is not in Forze, which is obvious, obviously, but Kota is in a place where many people are so steadfast in their ways that his talk no jutsu is bullshit. To the point where every single time that he succeeds at something, it's like, why is anybody listening to you? Most of these people don't want to fucking listen to you and they hate you. What the fuck are you doing? that will be double when we get to Michi. But Kota is basically just like, he's like a shonen protag in a seinen manga. And it doesn't work. And it's fucking jarring, especially when we get to episode 15 and onwards.
For the most part, I would largely in part agree with that. Maybe not till episode 15, but I'd say probably around more when you start exploring more or less like what Yggdrasil is as a whole, as well as also when you get up to more of like when you start introducing the overlords. Because around that time, like, it felt more or less like, okay, this is a coming of age story of a young man growing into an actual man and having to see the realities of basically the world and how everything kind of sucks, and persevering hope, which is, again, it's a shonen plot, obviously. However, I think in this case, like, of course it works for, like, the first few episodes. Maybe a little after when you, basically have, like, I think around the time he should have grown into an actual, like, man and say, like, okay, you know what, like, all this kitty shit kind of ends here, is when he basically figures out that, like, okay, shit, I just killed Yuya. And, like, that's when it should have, like, begun. However, it doesn't start until literally, like, he starts getting his final form. But even so, like, that feels really undeserving. Unearned. Yeah, there we go. Unearned, undeserving. And just, like, yeah, he should have grown a pair way earlier.
He should have.
Well, I was going to say, can you really call it a coming-of-age story when he never comes of age? Because let's think about it for a second. Like, let's.
The thing is.
Well, let's really think about it for a second.
The thing is, and you and I both said this. He's supposed to be 21 in the show. Am I correct?
I believe
yes.
20.
At the end of the show, he's 21.
He's 21, like which and this is coming from like that's usually a time when like you're less of a boy and more of a man in the old sense, but nowadays you're still considered young. But he's got to grow up. He's got the body of a 21-year-old, but he's got the mindset and I want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? He's
emotional maturity.
Not just emotional maturity, priorities. The priorities of a 15 to 16-year-old. He's willing to accept that he needs to grow up, but he also wants to still do the things that he loves that a teenager would have time to do, but he can't. The thing is, he can't in real life. You can reasonably balance it, but one is gonna have to go into, or you're gonna have to teeter down in favor of the other, and it's the job. He's got to start.
Well, see, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, though, is that would be a very good idea for a character if they had kept it to the idea where he was trying to become an adult, trying to find a job to support his sister, while having to try and balance the whole thing with his fucking dance team. Which is why Jay and I were saying from like the very start, if this stuck with dancing, there's still ways you could do this story, if not better. It's fucking just step up in West Side Story, or whatever the fuck dance movie you want to say. Like
dance, gang, drama, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to do that story where he's trying to mature, that's fine, that's great. But the thing is, the way he's trying to mature when he doesn't mature at all throughout this entire story is like, dude, again, if you were with just the dance team, this works. But there's a fucking apocalypse going on outside, dude. What the fuck are you doing crying about a guy who just tried to kill you twice?
Basically, like, I think the best way you can kind of equate it to, like, very crudely equate it to, the original anime run of Evangelion. Basically, Shinji, it's fine, it's understandable that you don't want to get in the robot, but holy shit, the world's gonna end if you don't kill that angel, so hurry up and get inside the damn robot. And now I'm gonna imagine someone photoshopping Kota's face onto Shinji.
But didn't he need to be coerced to get into the robot? Wasn't he? Didn't, like, I forget. I never watched Evangelion, but wasn't he kind of promised sex in order to get him into the robot?
That's end of Evangelion. We don't know. Whatever. Those are semantics.
About that.
Semantics in the larger.
Well, okay,
but I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So yeah. So this goes to a larger problem with the idea of Kota. Is that okay? He wants to grow up, blah 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 blah, but that's not his motivation for the whole show. Like, let me ask a very valid question, and I asked this to Phil. What is Kota's goal the entire show? And don't say saving people, because that's every writer's goal. I'm saying, what's his actual goal?
I had a blank.
And I'm going to use a direct comparison to a successor. What was Shinosuke's goal throughout the whole show? Stop the roid mutes, right? Not to save people, it was to stop the roid mutes. And what was Kota's main goal throughout the whole show? It was not to be at the top of the ranks with the beat writers. That was coincidental. It was not to stop Yggdrasil, because he was kind of just thrown into that plan without him even realizing it. And it wasn't to become the man at the beginning, because he didn't know that fucking existed until the very fucking end. No. So, what is his character? What is his motivation? What is anything? He has nothing. He's so passive in this show that it makes his naivete worse, honestly. Like, at least with Gentaro, like, we're going to go back to him real quick. At least with him, yeah, you can say he didn't really have a goal, blah, blah, blah. But it works in that show because it's just supposed to be, for the most part, an episodic, fun time. He's just making friends. He's going through high school life. It's a slice of life. And that works. And that's why Kota would work more in a show like that. In a show like this, it's like, well, what are you doing, bud? Like, who are you? What do you want? You're just kind of here.
Part of that is the classic Butcher syndrome of writing for the subversion, where he wrote Kota to, like, for this show being like a goofy slice of life comedy, and then it stops being that later on. Mm-hmm. But Kota as a character never really changes to adapt that setting. He's still that kind of happy-go-lucky goofball, but it doesn't quite work with the plot. Like Shinji from Ryuki, he works with that plot because the plot of the show is we're all trying to murder each other. His goal is to get everybody to stop trying to murder each other.
Exactly.
Kota doesn't exactly translate like that because everybody at one point is working against Helheim, but then then everybody starts betraying each other. But then it doesn't really work because Kota's still trying to fight the overlords, and the overlords are trying to take over the world. But everybody's still backstabbing each other, and Yggdrasil's doing their own shit, and everybody's kind of all on different plot tangents at once. So
exactly,
Kota being the happy-go-lucky goofball, it doesn't work.
Well, and it's kind of like I alluded to earlier. if this show had stayed like a comedic-ish, like not too serious, not too comedic, like somewhere in the middle, like an O's or a Double or something like that, that works just fine, because at least then it's not this grounded, serious drama. It's relatively believable that some of these people would see Kota's way. It would be believable. But in this show, let's take, for example, you have somebody like Michi. There's no way that this would work because again, we're trying to be grounded here. There was no way that this would work in real life. No. Nobody would, honest to God, look at this guy after all that he's done, like Kota, and be like, but you're my friend. You're my friend.
No.
It's like, no,
my
what the
friend.
fuck?
Thank you for being a friend.
What the fuck? Like, sincerely, it's to the point of hey, Kaito said it himself. Your naivete is getting to the point of insanity.
He's right.
And it was. But
this is coming from the crazy guy.
And here's the biggest issue, though. And I've mentioned this before. His naivete, his unwanting, his pushback to mature, his basically just refusal to change. The worst part about it all, he gets rewarded for it. Every single step of the way, he gets rewarded for it. He gets rewarded with the belt. He gets rewarded with Jinba. He gets rewarded with Kachidoki. He gets rewarded with Kiwami. He gets rewarded Mai's pussy. He gets rewarded everything. So, is this show's message, hey kids, wanna be God? Fuck, just don't do anything and cry.
Wait. That wasn't supposed to be a lesson? Damn it.
Yeah, let's teach that to kids and man children on the internet. Hey, you want to get everything in life? Just don't do anything. No wonder Tubman loves this fucking show.
Well, there was also some of them can at least be said. Like he was okay with the Sengoku driver. He found it. He technically found it, and it would have just been that. But Jinba, the Lemon Lock Seed, Kachidoki, and Kiwami, those were all given to him.
Literally
for nothing.
Handed to him.
Pretty much. He didn't have to and I hate to say
that's the funniest part. Literally handed to him.
Even Cherry and friggin' Peach are kind of like I was almost about to say he at least worked for those, but it's like no, he attacked Sigurd and Marika.
He yoinked it from fucking Minato.
He
fucking went yoink.
Well, technically, I guess
he fucking did.
Okay, no, let's think about this.
At least technically working for them. Yeah, he had to do something.
You have to basically mug people for it.
It's working the exact same way as when I go to a Walgreens to see a Hershey's bar, sure. But again, it comes down to the problem. This guy as a main character fucking sucks because there is nothing to him. And again, when it's comedic, when it's funny, when it's trying to be charming, his actor, Gakusano, is hilariously charming. He's amazingly charming. He has a lot of charisma, and he's very funny. He's a very funny guy. But when it comes down to brass tacks and he has to be a serious guy, he has to be a serious character, I'm sorry, he comes off like a bitch. More than Mitch.
Maybe it's because of Kota's character. Because
I would definitely blame the script more because there are instances where he can do it well, but the problem is that Butcher seems to have just kind of wanted to keep him stuck in his personality as a character, but the show does literally everybody else in the show changes or grows and has like some kind of character development. Kota remains static the entire show, but that's the problem, is that he keeps having these dramatic moments that should be changing his character, but then he forgets to change his character afterwards.
It's like every single time he has one of those moments where he has to nut up, he gets reset the next episode.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's wild, dude. And hey, you know what? Let's go back to Ryuki for a second. When Shinji had his moment where he finally was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I am just done. He still had his comedic moments, but he was still changed. He was a changed man at the end. So, and Kota just never does. He has like 3 moments where it would be perfectly fine for him to be like, all right, fuck it, I'm done. But he never does it. Like, even when he becomes an overlord, it doesn't really mean anything. He's still just as naive. Hell, the fact that he beat Kaito is a fucking joke. Like, just by sheer resolve alone is a fucking joke.
It's main character syndrome.
But see, like, that's the biggest problem, is that this guy just doesn't work. And again, if we had kept it, I'm gonna keep saying it because it's fucking true. If we had kept it as a semi-serious, semi-comedic show, like a Forze, like a fucking O's, or like a Double, this show would be just fine. It would be just fine. And I think he would work amazingly well, because at least then we can excuse it with, well, he's just having his goofy moments. Here it's like, dude, America just got fucking nuked. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, did you not see that?
I mean, that's not his problem.
It's like your best friend inadvertently has killed thousands of people. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Nah, it's fine. That's fine.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You know, Michi, it's fine.
just America.
Yeah, it's just America. Who cares?
Michi, it's fine if you try to sexually assault Mai. It's cool. We've all done it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
I mean, to be no, we gotta talk. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. We gotta talk about more of that when we get to Michi.
Well, we're not getting to Michi yet, because I think we've said pretty much everything we've said about Kota. Because if I stay on him, I'm probably going to be here for about 40 hours explaining why this guy is scientifically a shit character.
But he's not as shit as Toma. He's not as shit as Toma.
That's not fair.
Okay, no,
that's not fair.
just...
That's like saying you're
pardon
not
the
as bad
pun.
as
Okay,
cancer.
no, pardon the pun, that's just low-hanging fruit.
Literally.
You know what, actually, don't pardon the pun, that was on purpose.
You can't compare Gary Stu Toma to slightly Gary Stu idiot Kota. There's no comparison. It's like, it's not fair, you know? But either way, Kota is just a dumb motherfucker. He's just dumb. Which is like, I guess there's going to be somebody in the comments that says like, oh, but, you know, that's the point. He's supposed to see the darkness beyond everything. He's supposed to be the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes,
like,
so does Kaito.
Yeah, okay, Xehanort.
Yeah, you could...
okay, is it really the light at the end of the tunnel when you're the one holding the fucking lighter?
No.
Like, you're the one walking through that tunnel? Not really. Not really.
Kota being an idiot would not necessarily be so bad if it weren't for the fact that literally everybody constantly knows something that he should, and he's just too oblivious to realize it until he's told it personally to his face. And even then, he ignores it.
Like, whatchamacallit, there was like, I think there was like one screen cap that I remember was a meme back in, what was it, 2014? And it was just like, it was that look of, it was a Yoko and Kaito, like, looking at each other, just like, with just simple disgust. Just like, and it was after, like, Kota said something like, obviously, like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna talk to Michi and, like, make sure he comes back to the light side of the Force. And I was just like, but, dude, he's been trying to kill you. What the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
Like, dude, have you not noticed that he is constantly wringing his hands, evilly grinning every time he's like around you?
Did you not?
Like, I mean, come on! All you have to do is turn around and you'll
Did
catch
you
him
not
in his act.
notice that this guy looks like he's done like a fucking cocaine binge for the last 3 weeks, looking at you, just wanting to murder your ass? Like, really?
I mean, look, they're professional dancers. They're probably all on coke.
This is also true. See, like, again, I understand the point of Kota's character. Because someone's going to say, without the pay. You know what? Shut the fuck up. Just before anything, shut the fuck up. I get it. I know what the point is. He's supposed to be the optimist that stays optimistic and is able to show the light. But again, that only works if the rest of the show is working around that. If the rest of the show is Saving Private Ryan, you're not going to put Buzz Lightyear in there. It doesn't fucking work.
Well, I mean,
It's.
I don't know. You could probably.
well,
make
to be
that.
honest,
I mean, that would be fucking
Okay,
hilarious.
yeah,
but still.
would, but wouldn't make sense.
wouldn't that... Okay, wait. No, never mind. Really stupid. It's gonna make a voice actor reference.
See, I was gonna say Woody, but it would fit way
Yeah,
too
because
well.
it's Tom Hanks. But anyways,
Exactly. but see, that's the thing. Like, it's like Jay said, the show itself changes. It does this whole tonal shift. It changes around him, and he just refuses to not. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, but no, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're fucking get out of here. But hey, at least we have a secondary writer who's consistent, right? Right?
Let's not talk about that one and instead talk about Kaito.
Oh, wait, he's consistent? You sure about
No.
that?
No, I never said that.
Fucking Kaito Schizo Kumon?
you know what? Like, Yeah, you know what? Just saying Kaito's name, like Kaito. You've already given me like 3 paper cuts, just due to how much edge he's already got, and just the pure unnecessary fact of how much edge he has.
Kaito, I don't know what the writers want to do with me, Kumon?
So let's talk about Kaito, because I actually kind of liked him for the first couple of episodes. I thought he was an interesting change of pace. You know, he's the rival character, of course. He had. I mean, hey, he was the only one who had fucking balls in this show up to that point. So I kind of liked him. He was a little overly edgy, but hey, you know, that's what it takes to be infinite. Still, like, it's great. He was a fun character. But then they started being like, hey, Kaito, what's your motivation?
Blow up Yggdrasil, which I'm going to do by working for Yggdrasil.
Yeah. Which I'm going to do by killing all the weak people, but I'm also going to do that by saving all the weak people. But I'm also going to do that by destroying the earth.
Them all into Inves.
And then for no reason, I want to now bang Mai.
Yeah, that was also weird. He never had that motivation. I mean, they would talk, but there was never an instance where he found her romantically interested.
But let's take a look at this for a sec. He goes from fuck the weak, all strong, to I am strong for the weak, to only strong, kill weak, Senator Armstrong, to Yggdrasil, that's pretty neat, to Overlords, to Mai, to I'm just dead now. It's like, where the fuck are you going, dude? Like,
I think the biggest problem with Kaito is that his character works early on when the show is the goofy kind of dance rider competition, because, you know, again, like we said, Koda's the goofy, dumb optimist who's just like, all happy and smiles, and Kaito's the fucking grim jackass hothead who wants to just be the best.
He's the foil to Kota.
Yeah, he's Koda's foil, and that he's the big pessimist. He's like, no, you can only win by being the biggest douchebag on the planet, because that's what being strong is beating the shit out of each other and committing crimes. But
yeah.
But that's one,
but then the writer competition stops, and Kaito just fucking quits, and he walks away, and then he spends the next 30 episodes doing fucking nothing of importance, because his early motivation is that his whole thing for joining the competition is that he hates Yggdrasil because they fucked up his town, they fucked up his family, and they ruined everything because they're a bunch of rich assholes who preyed on the weak. You know, he's like, well, I'm going to be the stronger than them and prey on them now that they're weak, and I'm going to destroy them. But then he starts willingly working for them and willingly doing what they want for no real reason, and it doesn't fit his character, and then he starts helping them with the overlords, and then he starts
saving people, and then says, I never wanted to save anybody.
And then he wants to take over Yggdrasil, and then he doesn't. And then he does, and now he wants
to bang Mai,
to destroy them again, but I don't fucking...
He goes in so many directions, it's like, I think you're actually schizophrenic, my dude. And then for no reason, he turns heel at the end.
The thing is, the writers of this show the writer...
Technically writers.
Yeah, that's... Okay. The writer of the... Urobuchi... Gen Urobuchi wrote all these episodes, right?
A majority of it, when it wasn't story-specific. Until the final episode.
With the exception of 3 episodes, he wrote every episode.
The thing is...
those 3 episodes are the movie tie-ins and the finale, which he ghost wrote. So basically every episode.
Urobuchi doesn't seem to understand that Kaito is he's an interesting character because he is the foil to Kota, but the thing is, after episode 18, you have a character who has nowhere to go. He's left the beat writers. He's going on his own. But it doesn't. Having him go on his own would have been perfectly fine, but not working for Yggdrasil. If they had kept one of the points of I am strong because I fight for the weak, that actually would have been kind of interesting. Because it would have been like, oh, I'm going to find these overlords. I may have found out about them when I was in Yggdrasil, and that would have been fine. And it would have been like, oh, I'm going to stop these guys before they actually do any actual harm. But he doesn't do that. He keeps changing his motivations over and over and over again until the point of he's just saying, oh, I'm doing this all because I'm going to rule the earth. Everything is going to be better in my view. And it doesn't make any sense. Urobuchi doesn't seem to understand what made Kaito charming, what made the character likable amongst so many fans, and hell, why he kept him around in the first place.
Well, see, Phil, I would necessarily disagree. I do think Butcher understood what made Kaito work. That's why he was going to kill him off after the first act. But he was too popular and made too much money, so they told him not to kill him off, and now he's stuck with a character that he doesn't know what to do with because his use in the show has been is expired, but he's still forced to keep him around.
And that's where it happens. That's what it is.
And that's where it happens, is that now that the dance battle is over and every element that Kaito had to give has been used up, he's dried out, he's still stuck with the character, so now what the fuck do I do with him? And here's the thing, is that it's a little difficult to talk about kind of the what could have been stuff with this show, because on one hand, Butcher has been incredibly openly candid about what was going to happen, his other plans for the show, and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff for the show. Mm-hmm. Like, more so than any other writer in the franchise ever has. But Butcher is also a compulsive liar and an unreliable narrator. And this is not an insult or an attack on his character. All of Butcher's stories revolve around that kind of twist element of not knowing what you're going to get, not knowing what's going to happen, and expecting the unexpected. So Butcher inherently openly lies about everything that happens just to keep that twist going. And unfortunately, that bleeds over a lot. Us. Yeah, even in his like interviews and stuff, this bleeds over where he'll lie just to keep like a surprise.
Yeah.
And usually you can tell when he's lying and when he's being true, because he usually draws attention to what the lies are, and when he's being like genuine about something, he'll just kind of offhandedly mention it and not really call attention to it. Mm-hmm. So even though he said before, oh yeah, the end game was always going to be Kota and Kaito, guys, I seriously, I promise, it was always going to be them fighting over the forbidden fruit. And then when he says in another interview that, oh yeah, Kaito was going to die super early on, but he was popular, so we kept him around. Then you can tell he's telling the truth, because that makes sense with everything that happened. Mm-hmm.
Deadass, I don't even think the forbidden fruit was going to be a thing. I actually do not feel like it.
Ryoma hinted at it even before episode 18. He always hinted about how every ancient civilization, their mythologies, always had a hint of these forbidden fruits, these fruits of power, whether it be...
Well, sure, but that's more like an offhanded remark, not so much I am literally talking about a MacGuffin here.
That's more exploring his personality and his mentality rather than literal definitive foreshadowing. But at the same time, I do think that there was always intended to be some big source of power behind Helheim that was going to be like the end game prize, because that's what fucking happened to Madoka, is that there was the big ultimate endgame power that was behind all the shit going on, and Madoka ended up getting that, and blah, 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 time travel, whatever the fuck. I don't remember. I fucking watched Madoka once, and I fucking forgot everything that happened in that show. Not important. So, Kaito just kind of vanishing from relevance, but still being around in the spotlight, makes way more sense when you understand that he was supposed to die relatively early on.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I almost want to say that he was going to die instead of Hase, because, for starters, Hase's death scene and the entire episode up to it make way more sense with Kaito and his personality.
I agree.
Indeed.
And two, it's pretty much right after then that he stops doing anything. Like, because what does he do after that point is that he fucking quits the dance battle and gives up Team Baron, and then does nothing, and then hooks up with Yggdrasil and Ryoma, and then does nothing for like 30 episodes until the finale when he becomes an overlord.
Well, it's like you said, dude. It's like Butcher literally had nothing else to do with this. His role in the story was done. He had his push, he had his fun, and that's it. He's done. Like, there's nothing else to him anymore. And it kind of becomes even more obvious when his power-up before Lord Baron was literally just taking Ryoma's. Like, what the fuck was that? It's funny. It's actually almost hilarious in that when you think about it, because, like, well, I get he was popular, but popular enough to be the final boss? Really? What the fuck?
The thing with the Genesis driver that I love is that I get the feeling that they knew that Ryoma's actor had that because he had another commitment with a theater production, which in years of
beating up
experience
hookers.
what was it? being in theater,
Phil doesn't know that.
You cannot miss out on this stuff. And yes, I do not know what you're talking about. I get the feeling that they
his actor was accused of beating up a hooker.
That I heard about. That I did hear about.
Well, more or less sexual assault.
No, it wasn't beating up.
I get the feeling
it was sexual assault. But that happened after the show ended, though. And
that is way less.
Like,
funny.
if anything, that happened like twice apparently. Like the first time, just like, oh no, that wasn't me. But the second, it's like, oh yeah, JK, that was actually me both times. So I'm a discount.
I guess he really was a lemon.
You really got to stop doing that. But what I was saying was, I get the feeling that when they were told, oh, he can't do these episodes, so we're not going to have, like, Duke's not going to be around that much, they're like, well, we got this popular character, or this character that's becoming very popular, we want to give it an upgrade, but we don't want to, but Bandai is not willing to make a toy right now, considering
we don't have the money for it.
So we'll just, exactly, so it's like, what could we use then? Well, Sigurd's gonna die soon. Why don't we just use cherry? No. Red on red, not good. No. We'll do lemon instead. We'll just give him a lemon one instead. Yeah. And then every kid will want a lemon DX lemon energy lock seed, and then the savior, and then the sonic arrow will go up in price to $200 when it's not $200 at all.
After that tirade, so yeah, Kaito was just. He basically was not supposed to be until Butcher was like, well, I have literally nothing else to be the final boss. Nobody else can be the final boss at this point. It makes too much sense to make it Kaito, so fuck it, I'll make it Kaito. Like, everybody else, honestly, if you had tweaked the story just a little bit, and I still think this way, I think Ryoma would have been a fine final boss. Only because if you could tweak it, make him go, I don't know, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just enough. Because, hey, we already know that somebody can just steal the fucking fruit. Why not? Fuck it. Like, just tweak it a little bit so it's not so edgy grimdark. I think you could do it. Because Kaito as a final boss just felt kind of... It just felt kind of flat. Like, why are you a bad guy? Like, why are you the heel? Why are you trying to destroy the world? Like, this makes no sense to me. Like, weren't you literally saying earlier that you wanted to protect the world for the weak because you're strong? Now you want to just kill everybody? What the fuck? What are you doing, dude? You're actually schizophrenic. You're fucking crazy.
Oh, real? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, granted, he gets a pretty badass monster form, a pretty badass overlord form, but he doesn't do it. If he had done it out of, like, desperation, like, later on, like, early on, if he had done it out of desperation as a last minute thing, I would have said okay, but it doesn't make any sense. He's just like, oh, well, my wound is starting to get worse. You know what? Fuck it. I want to beat this prick. I want to beat him at his own game. He killed my... Now I
want that fucking Inves wound plotline, which dragged on for fucking 20 episodes and never went anywhere.
Felt like it was just there for no fucking reason. Which, by the way, remember when Inves can, like, cut you and you become a monster?
That's inconsistent.
Yeah, because Kota and most of the other writers get cut by monsters.
I like the...
So,
I like to think
the belt stops it because fuck you.
No, Jay, I can say... No, Jay, I say fuck you to that because Kota got cut by a Hase out of suit.
No, but he had the belt on.
No, there was the other dude.
When you're wearing it.
So did Kaito, jackass. What the fuck?
Think about it. You have a bunch of Kurakage soldiers out there. That's at least and they're getting attacked by those things. It's at least plausible that it would defend against Helheim and Inves.
No, yes, I understand that, but again, we saw that Kaito was still he still got hurt out of the suit with the belt on. So the thing is, the belt doesn't protect them. It's just the suit itself.
Yeah,
which even then I still feel is inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, the belts do like 50 fucking things. It doesn't make you hungry. It fucking just turns shit into lock seeds because you hold on to it. It's fucking weird, dude. The belts are weird.
Dimensional portals, but only sometimes. Then sometimes you need a fucking motorcycle and. It has like a fucking self-destruct, and then maybe you can sometimes remove the knife. Sometimes you can't. I don't know.
What even is what like honestly
giant knife? I don't know.
Honestly, what even is a lock like what even is a lock seed in relation to the universe? Because it's like, okay, where in Helheim is this armor actually placed?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but what? Like, if you're going to explain this much...
the same lock seed at the same time, would that just make, like, a duplicate of it?
Obviously not, because Kiwami exists.
Yeah, but Kiwami... Yeah, that is true, because Kiwami uses all of the armor weapons, even when the armored riders who are using them are literally in the vicinity of him.
Oh, no. Not only that, but we see Kiwami's transformation. It has all of the armor smash onto him.
Well, except for Melon, but Melon energy. Yeah, that's the thing. They use Melon energy instead of Melon.
It's weird, dude. Like, it's legitimately kind of weird. Like, this has no bearing on the, like, quality of the show, except that Butcher's a fucking hack. But, like...
Well, what else is new?
True. But it's just, like, lock seeds themselves are inconsistent, just like Kaito. It sucks, man, because I remember really liking Kaito when I first watched the show back when it like finished airing, but like now I'm watching and I'm just like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, what's your deal, dude?
The thing is, AJ, I remember like this was a year after Gaim ended, and when Drive was going on, there were still people. Remember when we were at when we met at Anime Next? Remember how a bunch of people, most of the people there were dressed up as Team Baron, and most of them were Kaito. None of them were Zack, most of them were Kaito. That's how popular of a character he was.
No, I get that. But this is not a question of his popularity. It's a question of the quality of his writing. Because what the fuck is Kaito's deal? Like, again, we said this before, but like, it's just like up and down with this guy to the point where I'm like, what's wrong with you?
We did.
But of course, that goes back to Jay saying this guy should not have been around. So I don't think Butcher knew what the fuck he was going to do with it.
I was going to...
like, nobody knew what he was going to do with it.
I was going to save this till later, but I think this might be a good time to say it. Personally, I think this show should have ended at episode 18. That's when it should have ended.
Remind me, what was episode?
Basically,
that
when
was
the
Beat
Riders basically...
end of the Beat Riders, yes.
That's when it should have ended.
Like...
We'll get to that idea later, though.
Yeah.
Now, should we talk about the little bitch himself?
Yeah, let's talk about the rapist himself, Michi.
Okay.
Mitch the bitch.
Can I just get this out of the way? Had they kept Michi's motivation of he'll betray anybody in order to keep people's happiness, like he'll backstab anybody, that actually could have been interesting if done correctly.
Yeah, that's the problem. It wasn't.
The thing is,
we ain't in the business of giving gold stars for intention here.
He would have.
Michi is a very strange character because early on,
he's fine.
These are words that I don't think any of you were going to expect to hear tonight. I actually like Michi early on.
He wasn't.
He was a good character early on because I like that kind of duplicitous nature he has. I like he's a good guy, and he's a good person. He wants to do good things. He wants to help Kota. He wants to help the writers.
But he knows when to turn on the bad
yeah,
guy.
but he's got that the noblesse oblige, as
oh,
they
dude,
say,
I like that too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I love that
interesting.
part because it gave him that little tinge where it's like, this guy is kind of an asshole when he needs to be, and I like that. It almost gave us a perfect middle ground between Kota's overly friendliness and Kaito's assholeness. It gave us a middle ground. It's like, oh, great, that's good. Now we have the perfect balance here, basically. But then he becomes Rapist Michi, and that's where it all goes wrong.
The thing is, they started leaning more towards his duplicitous nature, and I will agree with you on this one. I loved him in the beginning because of that. He was the type of guy who, he was kind and sweet, which he always wanted to be, but when he needed to be a backstabber or needed to be cunning, he knew when to do it right. The thing is, they kept leaning more towards that duplicitous nature, to the point of he was also becoming drunk with power. That's where it started going wrong.
But that's the thing. I actually kind of really liked the parts where he was like, he started getting drunk with power, and he's working all the angles. Like, oh, he's working with Ryoma, and then, oh, he's working with his brother, and then, oh, he's working with Team Gaim, and he's on like 6 different angles at once, and he's betraying everybody simultaneously.
How many levels of betrayal are you on?
Like, he reminded me of, like, fucking Starscream, because he's just betraying everybody constantly at all the times, and he's constantly getting away with it, because he's just that good at betraying everybody. I liked that stuff. It was a really fun angle. I was like, it was fun. It's like, oh, here's a new piece of information I learned from Party C. Here's how I'm going to use that to exploit Party A and D in order to.
He basically becomes
Party
the main
B.
character for a few episodes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for fuck's sakes, he's literally, Butcher literally said he's the real protagonist because he's the one where we learn all of the information from. He's the main focal point of the show because he's the one where we get all of the fucking exposition from.
I feel like I feel somewhat like I need to disagree on that one, because how I was taught, protagonist is the one who we follow the most through the show through their eyes,
and we do.
But that's Kota. Kota's supposed to be the protagonist.
No. Here's the thing: Kota and Michi, they don't get the exact same, but they do get quite a bit of screen time equally.
Then
they're not. But that's the thing: Michi is not only the one who has the goal and the journey and the motivation, but he's the one that we learn everything from. Kota is just a guy who just sits there and jerks off all day.
But then you would say that one of them would have to be the deuteragonist, then the secondary protagonist.
I would say that's Kota. At a certain point, I would say that's like between the points of him getting Shin Sangetsu, like the point where he finally starts getting drunk with power to Shin Sangetsu. Michi is the main guy, and Kota is just the guy in the background. I even said this in the server, like Michi feels more the main character than Kota does at a certain point. Not afterwards, but for the most part, he's basically the main guy.
I kind of flip it. I'm a little bit more on the whole like Michi's the deuteragonist thing, because Kota is the namesake character of the show. That's how I see it. But I mean,
that doesn't really matter.
Again, I can agree to disagree on this one.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, you saying like he's the namesake doesn't really mean anything. I mean, shit. Look at Ryuki and look at Kabuto. Look at Hibiki. It's like just because the character's name is on the box doesn't mean that he's the main guy. You know what I mean? That's why I see Michi as more the protagonist.
And either way, when the fucking head writer of the show is saying this, it's a little hard to disagree with.
But even you said Urabuchi lies.
That's true, but this is, again, one of those elements where, yeah, he just kind of offhandedly mentioned it, so that's how you know where he's not, like, intentionally lying. Because he's not bullshitting you to hide a twist, because where's the twist of saying Michi is the real protagonist? Because it's up until a point, it's true. And coincidentally, that point is when he stops being a fun character and becomes the most miserable motherfucker in the entire show, which is when he betrays Takatora and steals his belt and starts impersonating him for 20 fucking episodes for no good fucking reason.
'Cause lol.
When all of his entire personality and motive and all of the fun stuff about him and like backstabbing everybody gets thrown out the window, and all he wants to do is just murder Kota for no good reason, because he stole my because he fucked the girl I was in love with.
See, you know, I know something funny, Jay.
They never technically had sex.
It's implied.
Phil, you saw the jacket, okay? We all saw the jacket.
Look, here's the thing. We saw the jacket. We also saw his lighter mood the next day. And also Bonzo saying, "Oh my god, you look a lot happier, buddy."
Bondo basically just says
he had the afterglow.
Is this after the day after Kota
Yes.
told Mai about
Yes.
Yuya's death?
Yes.
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 That makes sense.
Fucking idiot.
I kind of said this once Michi went full bitch stick mode. No, full sicko mode, I should say. He's basically the way you fuck up Jin from Amazons, where technically you have a right to be angry at some of this shit, but you're such a miserable cunt that I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like he's like the anti-Jin, where it's like, yeah, technically you're right to be mad at some of this stuff, because let's be honest, Kota is a fucking idiot, and it is his fault that some of this shit's happening, but you're so miserable, dude. Like, I don't want you on my... Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
It's not just that. It's because, remember, he was always doing this to keep Mai happy. He felt that after Kota told Mai about Yuya's death, and now that now you guys have said that they spent that whole thing, he basically sees it as, you basically fucked up the one thing I told you not to do. And that's what started leading him to basically go to, not even leading, but accelerating the whole, I gotta put this fucker out of my misery now because I can't deal with this guy. He's getting in the way of everything.
But that's kind of the problem, is that it also ignores everything that was about his character up to that point by just throwing it all out the window, and now he's just absent-mindedly trying to kill Kaido. I almost said Kaido.
We tried to
that would have been a little more interesting if he was trying to kill Kaido, because then he was trying to kill a character who actually could do something about what he's doing.
Actually, Jay, I was thinking about the same thing. Like, literally that you mentioned it. It would be interesting if he was trying to kill Kaito, so he'd keep Kota and Mai happy. Two people that he was trying to keep happy before he went full sicko mode.
Yeah, but
It would have made more sense.
You could also be like, well, because Kaido is trying to take down Yggdrasil from the inside, and of course Michi benefits from that not happening. So obviously he would want to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's the problem, is that, and then he just kind of becomes like a mopey dick, and he doesn't really do anything interesting, and then he starts hanging out with fucking Redue and does nothing for 15 episodes straight,
and then he kills his brother
until he kidnaps Mai and he fucking kills her because he's an insane person.
He didn't technically kill her.
The one fucking person whose life he wanted to protect, and she dies because of him. Great fucking record, Michi. You genius.
I'll tell you this now. He protected her not because he loved her, but he just saw her as an object.
Yes, thank you,
Phil.
No,
he wanted a doll. That's what he wanted.
The show literally says this.
It's almost like Kaito said that.
He did. He did, literally, and I've always...
It's almost like Kaito just said that. But again, it kind of comes down to the point, like Che said. He just becomes this miserable person that's just like... He's not somebody I want to see on my screen. He has go away heat with me after a while, and I'm just like, did you need that? And see, you know what's an interesting thing? I thought the interesting part about him was not interesting, but I thought an interesting idea, I should say, was the whole thing with his brother. I thought, okay, jealousy angle, let's see where we go with that. Oh, okay, so he killed his brother, and now he's haunted by that specter of his brother. And then he does it, and then literally the next episode, the ghost of his brother comes back. It's like, why? Why are you here again?
I think this is the one last thing I want to say about Michi. I kind of liked him going crazy and seeing the ghost of Takatora, but I kind of wish that they started doing that earlier on, because then it would make more sense, and that's like his self-doubt kind of pushing him to go even crazier, and that would be kind of interesting, but they do it after Takatora is quote-unquote dead, and so it's like 3 episodes of him just hallucinating, and it's kind of lame. It's kind of lazy.
They do it. They kill him twice, dude. What the fuck?
He gets killed twice, and he's still alive.
So, anyways, going on that, let's talk about Takatora.
Speaking of the implaceable man of Melon, the best character in the show, whose name isn't Oren.
The based motherfucker, the only guy who's important.
Hawk Tiger Melon Man, our Lord and Savior.
Good old O's references.
AKA the one guy I was like, Please be the main character. Fucking hell.
He's the only interesting character because he actually does something. He has a motivation, and the one thing I will say that he does is that he is kept as a consistent threat. Like when Kota goes up against him, he gets his ass handed to him. Even when he gets Jinba, he still is a credible force. That is something that Rider does not do a lot, or at least they do, and then they forget about it. They at least kept it until the other Energy Riders betrayed him. That
actually shit, dude. I mean, even when he fought Michi that last time,
he held his ground.
He was winning.
He was
winning. He was gonna win, and that was with Michi using the Genesis driver. I'm like, wow, that's actually really impressive. Usually a character like this gets turned into a fucking jobber like 5 episodes in, and that's impressive.
And the thing is, what makes him interesting is his, how do you pronounce it? Noblesse oblige.
Noblesse oblige. Just
Noblesse oblige.
Let's just go with
oblige. Technically,
but just go with it.
It makes it interesting.
French.
It makes him interesting because he may be this cold-hearted. Well, he's not cold-hearted, but he's more of a detached sort of businessman who's also a warrior. But it's that obligation that is the foundation of his moral code, where he says, "This is to save humanity." And I have to do what I got to do, even if it means, unfortunately, the needs of the many outweighing the needs of many outweighing the needs of some of the few, which is interesting.
See, Takatoru works as a way better rival for Kota, especially during the middle section of the show.
Oh
when
my god,
Kaido
yes.
should have been dead and gone and not being focused on, because he is basically just Kota in more or less all terms of everything except for personality. He has the same motive, he has the same thoughts, he has basically the same origin story and personality with his relationship with his family. And they both have the same end goal of, we want to kill the monsters and protect humanity. And he's an antagonist because, well, for starters, he doesn't give a shit about the filthy dancing street trash. So he's trying to do all this shady shit, and that kind of leads to them, the conflict there, because he's off doing all this shady shit, and Kota obviously thinks he's evil. He's like, no, I'm trying to stop you all from being turned into fucking monsters. I just have to be an asshole about it.
Pretty much.
But it gets more interesting once he starts learning more about Takatoru as a person, and they're basically identical in terms of thought processes and motives, and I like that idea, and I like that the playback they have with each other, where, and I do like how Kota actually gets him to change his mind, and he starts influencing Takatoru, and he starts actually feeling like, oh wait, maybe there is an end goal that I can do. Maybe there's a way I can improve my own.
Maybe I don't have to
goal.
I don't have to kill 7 billion people.
Maybe I don't have to let 80% of the human race die. Maybe I can actually save everybody. Maybe I can do this. Maybe there's another way, and I really like that because it doesn't change his character at all, but it is an understandable progression to his goals and motive that doesn't alter his character fundamentally.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think he should have stayed dead.
Or like it's either that, or
Yes.
it also makes me wonder, considering the fact that we were initially supposed to kill off Kaito, well, like more at the beginning, right? Instead of Ryoma possibly being the final boss, what if it was actually Takatora being the final boss? Because just
wouldn't have worked.
In that case, I feel like that would have been a much more compelling narrative.
Well, it wouldn't have worked because then you would have to make the idea of because basically, if we're still going the exact same with the fruit of the beginning and all that shit, basically you would kind of have the idea that you would kind of have both characters trying to do the exact same thing, really.
Okay.
Like, because they would know that it does the exact same thing. See, what I thought was, what you could have done is you could have made Takatoru the rival for the second act. So you know how you have 1 act, 2 act.
Yeah.
Kaito's the first act.
Yeah.
Takatoru's the second act, and each one of them is dying, like in front of Kota,
I
and
see
like that slowly chips. I shouldn't say slowly, but it chips away at his like naivete, where he's like, "Well, the guy who was telling me to be strong died because I was too naive, and the guy who was actually seeing my way, who was strong, died because I was too naive." And in the third act, you finally have him nut up, and he's like, "All right, now I have to change." And I think that would have been.
I see that actually.
I mean, it works. It works in the sense that, I mean, Takatoa was supposed to die anyway, so why not do it there?
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think if they kept it where Takatora died, quote unquote, when he was betrayed by the other Yggdrasil goons, I think it would have worked a little bit better, and I think it would have been a good way to kind of end off his character, and especially if, I mean, as retarded and just nonsensical as the fake Zangetsu arc was, I think if you keep that, I think that still works, because you know, you reach that point where even in the show where they've kind of finally reached eye and eye, and Koda's finally changing Takatora's personality, and then suddenly he's betraying him, you know, because Takatora's already a shady motherfucker. You know, maybe something happened behind the scenes and he's deciding not to tell me, and you know, that would be an interesting angle to go with. And Takatora's dead for real, so there's no way he's going to come back, and there's no way they're going to resolve that. So as far as he knows, this is just how it's always going to be. But then when he gets betrayed, and then he's hanging around with the overlords, which really only he's really only hanging out with them for exposition's purposes, because we didn't really have any other way to deliver this information at the point when it was necessary. So it's a little weird. And then he just kind of like bums around Helheim for the rest of the show up until his final duel with Michi, and then he's dead again for realsies until he's not.
And then he just has brain damage.
But until he didn't.
Until he didn't, yes.
Man, how did they do the brain damage plot twice, and the second time was actually better?
Honestly, I would like the idea of him being the rival for the second act. It would have been interesting and would have made sense and would have given him a good end to his character. But it's like you said, he just bums around and does nothing, and he's just kind of wasted, really.
Oh, no, now I remember what I was going to say. To go back to Chad's point about him being the real final boss. See, I don't think it would work, because him being the final boss doesn't fit with his personality.
Because actually, like, as you were explaining that, it just kind of occurred to me, it's just like, it would have been basically a Canadian showdown of politeness. Basically, oh no, you take the fruit.
Yeah.
Oh no, you take the fruit.
Basically.
Because, like, the more I think about it,
only...
like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would have this two characters with the exact same goal, one the same MacGuffin for the exact same thing.
The problem, like, yeah, the only way Takatora could work as the final boss and not have to completely rewrite his character would either be some bullshit happens where he gets possessed, or he goes crazy because he ate a Helheim fruit, kind of like Kaido did, or for whatever reason he can't back down to Koda, or Koda changes his mind about what he wants to do with the fruit's power, or he decides he's going to do something different or something that. But the only way it would work is if you completely change what had been Takatora's personality after that point. So, no, I don't think he would work as the final boss.
Unless like, he's the final boss for somebody else.
That's also
true. I
but
think that would be,
it would never
it would
never happen.
It wouldn't.
No.
Like, unless like he was the final boss for like somehow Michi actually does kill off Kota and he like has to fight Takatora, but that would never happen.
We get like a Gundam strategy game kind of bullshit where you get the secret alternate route where Char becomes the pilot of the Gundam or some shit like that.
Yeah, like that would never fucking happen, but that would be based as fuck.
That would be really fucking cool. I think that would be interesting to explore as like a,
I would like that
movie.
Actually. I wish we would have seen that, but unfortunately he just has brain damage until he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
it was okay. Koda cured it with his god powers.
Indeed.
We'll talk about how inconsistent that bullshit is.
Yeah, because considering if he did have brain damage, he would be a vegetable at that point.
That's
Well,
okay,
I mean,
Phil.
this is a series meant for fruit, so I mean, it's neither here nor there, Phil.
Well, speaking of fruits, let's talk about Orin.
AKA the best character of this entire show.
Because there's really nowhere else to put him
Frenchman that I like.
He's not even really French.
He's a Frenchaboo.
He's mostly
He's a Frenchaboo.
He's close enough. I consider him French honorarily because he's cool.
Is being a French person really honorary?
Oui, oui.
There's no honor in the French.
That's true. Orin is such a weird character because he's like such a mishmash of different ideas and archetypes that should not work, but it does. And I think that's just because of what a weird show Gaim is overall.
Yeah.
So he's this effeminate pastry chef who's also a fucking
Mercenary.
battle-hardened war veteran with over 300 confirmed kills.
300?
He's also a mercenary. It's a joke, Phil.
Oh.
It's the
Phil
Navy SEALs
doesn't,
bit.
dude. He doesn't know. Anyways, go on.
Oren is trained in guerrilla warfare, as we all know. But
He will take you out with precision with the likes you've never seen.
Of course. As one naturally does.
which he does. He does actually.
Yeah.
As one naturally does, obviously.
And he's like,
Oh my god, he really is just the guy from the copy pasta.
He is.
he is the Navy SEALs copy pasta, the character. Yes. But and he's like a really like outrageous gay stereotype, and I mean, not even necessarily like a stereotype. He's just very effeminate and like fruity because he's like a pastry chef. And he's like,
French.
I get it. He's a Frenchman who's also like a walking murder machine, and he's such a ridiculous character, but he stays that level of ridiculous consistently, and I love him for it. And honestly, he becomes such a good character because he's the only fucking smart character in this show, because he's just like, anytime some dumb bullshit happens, he's immediately just like, no, what are you fucking idiots doing? What are you talking
He
about?
was the only
I
one.
think
he's
that's
stuck
the
in
thing.
This is obviously a trap.
Well,
He was the
like, I
only
think-
one who could deduce that Michi was the one wearing Zangetsu Shin armor
Yeah.
and not Takatora. And he literally says to Kota, I can tell he's a fake because he's not as graceful as my dear Melon.
Okay, like, I think that's just him being kind of weird on his own, or either...
That's him being
Yeah.
gay. That's
But,
just
like,
meant
here's
to be
a-
a joke about
yeah.
him being gay.
Phil, you have to remember, Oren is one of those homosexuals.
He's one of those them fruity homosexuals.
Okay, like, here's the thing.
don't need to Chad.
explain to me what a homosexual is. I know what
anyways,
Go on, Chad.
yes, we know you know what a homosexual, Phil, is. You wake up every day.
Oh,
Anyways, Phil, damn it, Chad.
Fucking hell. Yeah, go on,
Continue.
Chad.
Fruits and vegetables aside, or the lack of certain bananas and berries or whatever, maybe whatever. I think the actual reason that like everyone likes Oden, or like we especially like Oden, as well as to an extent Takatora, is mainly because they're the literal only adults in this show that know what the hell they're doing. And
Basically.
because just like everyone
They're
here at this
competent.
point is just like, yeah, no, they're kind of shitty brats, and just like, you don't know what they're doing, just like they're being kids. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess we're leaving it to the kids now, and like kind of shrugging it. But it's like, you know what? Just like, you know, if these kids get killed, they get killed. But at the same time, it's like, at least I did something. But you know what? That's besides the point. Though, the main reason we like them is mainly probably because they're actual adults in this show that know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, they're
That's
actually
pretty
competent.
That's a fair point. Yes, I think Oren works because works as like a weird early antagonist because he's just kind of like a babysitter. He's literally like, okay, you little fucking brats, it's time to put away your toys and get back to being responsible members of society. Enough of this dancing bullshit. Enough of your magic fruit block, whatever the fuck. Go out and get a fucking job. Stop dancing. You know, and that's why he's fun, because he's literally just like, get off old man Jenkins' lawn and get back to your fucking schoolwork or your job.
Despite the fact he does use those magic fruits.
It's just Gran
Yeah.
Torino. It's just Gran Torino and
Basically.
more or less.
That'd be amazing, actually.
That actually would be kind of deep.
But at the same time, he keeps working despite the fact that the show kind of stays away from that plot, because he remains that kind of voice of reason, like you said, because he's an adult and, you know, he's actually paying attention, and, you know, he uses common sense. And even in like, I do like, because it's like constantly like, he'll be put into a situation somebody else is, and immediately he's just like, no, what are you fucking idiots talking about? What do you mean? Like when he's stuck in the Helheim forest, he's like, oh, he sees the fruit. He's like, no, why am I gonna fucking eat a random plant in the middle of nowhere? What am I, stupid?
It's
Come
his
on.
training.
Yeah.
Like he even says,
Yeah.
like it's my training.
Yeah, like literally, because in terms of like Oden, for example, he could chalk it up to like his experience as like a war veteran, right? And then Takatora obviously kind of weirdly going into the Gaiden, just really skimming over that. Just first off, fuck that Gaiden. Second, like you can obviously tell that like no, Takatora's already had to make the sacrifices Kota had to eventually either learn to do or either make or either chose not to do. And just like
well, I mean, Takatora's had the most experience in the
like
forest.
yeah, literally, yeah, like both of them, as you can see, is just like it's initially adulting. It's like they have that experience, and because of that, just like I think for me specifically, kind of going over to my overall thoughts with the show. It's interesting visiting it 7 years later because that was literally I'm in high school. I relate to the youth versus now it's like, oh yeah, no. These youth are kind of like a headache, and goddamn, I was a headache. And then it's just like agree. It's really noticing, just like really learning how to weigh. Just like okay, you know what I don't know. It's learning just
I can relate.
Yeah, you relate to the different characters as you come back to a different work.
Yeah, like when Gaim aired, when it first started airing, I was a sophomore in college, but I didn't start watching it until I was and it ended when I was a junior. I was still a young kid. I was 20, but I was still a kid in a sense. But now, a couple years later, looking at it, I relate more to the adults than I do with the younger characters because it's like you have those responsibilities now. You have to find ways to pay the bills. You got to do all that type of stuff, and you don't want those rowdy kids messing with you.
The fuck does that say about me?
You're getting there, dude.
The fuck does that say about me?
That
we're all around the same age demographic.
I know, but I remember feeling this exact shit when I first watched it. It's like I was like 19 or 18. No, Phil, you're like what? 2 years older than I am.
I'm. How old are you now?
25.
And I'm 27.
So you're 2 years older than I am. So
Yep.
I was like. You were 20, so I was like 18 when I first watched this. And even when I was 18, I was just like, man, Coach is a fucking idiot. Oren, though. I like this guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
You've always been an old man.
You've always been an old man. That's just the truth of it, AJ. You've always been old.
You goddamn kids! Anyways, I fucking love Oren. He's great. He's amazing. And he has the only good arc in the show with Jonichi. It's great.
Where he kidnaps, mind breaks, and seduces a young boy into becoming his sex slave. Yeah.
Look, that is fucking okay. Besides the rape, that is fucking hilarious. Okay, because literally he just gets this guy who obviously this guy's just trying to manipulate him. Blah blah blah.
He knows.
But he's just like, all right, you want to be a man? I'll make you a fucking man. And it's fucking again. It has possibly the best payoff of the entire show, and it happens like halfway through. I'm like, I guess I can just stop watching. I don't need this anymore.
It's adorable.
It really is. Their arc is so weird because it literally is just Janochi gets forced into the arc, and it's somehow the most entertaining one in the show because it's just this doofy kid getting thrown into a hellish nightmare because of a weird French man. And I love the fucking training arc stuff because it's just them dicking around at like a playground in their armors, and they get all this other little shit. It's shenanigans. It's fun shenanigans, and
like I think
it's a funny take on the master apprentice relationship.
It's interesting mainly because like I remember reading like an interview with Urobuchi. I think it was someone else back in 2014, right? So. It was like, oh yeah, no, like the arc that you want to really like, that you'd really appreciate, is going to be like Guido and Bravo's relationship and like his story arc, and just like back when we were originally watching this, like back in 2014, right? I initially didn't see it. It just seemed kind of stupid. It's just like they're just kind of digging around, they're just doing whatever. But like the more I think about it, like especially viewing it now, it's like no, it's like you definitely see what Bravo's doing. Like that, he knows what Jonichi's doing, but he says like, you know what, I'm gonna make a man out of you, and then like I think the overall story arc with Jonichi is simply like a young man trying to find himself, and at the end of the day, he found himself. He didn't have to put up damn, I forgot the word, but it's like didn't have to put up like any he learned how to truly be himself, basically.
So what you're saying, Chad, is I should just play I'll Make a Man Out of You over these scenes.
Oh, hell
Pretty
yeah.
much you
of
should.
course
Yes.
you should. I don't know
Honestly,
what you
dude,
did.
I said it in the server. Like, if I had my way, I would chop up all. I would chop out all of the scenes where it has to do with Oren and Bravo, or Oren and Jonichi, and I would just make that into like a mini movie because this is fucking fantastic.
It is.
Like, in a weird way, Jonichi kind of has the arc that Kota should have, where he becomes a fucking man and fucking nuts up. It's great, which is funny because he's an acorn.
And a tiny acorn grows the mighty tree.
I fucking love everything with those two.
I
guys.
know.
They're fucking amazing.
Bravo and Ornak were really cool.
Please don't.
We should just call him Ornak from now on. Just to piss
But you
people
can
off.
tell that with Oren, even though he knows that Jonichi is trying to manipulate him, you can tell that he means well. His heart is in the right place, and he's like, you know what? This kid is kind of delusional. I'm gonna guide him on the path of what I've done, and he does. He makes him out to be a pretty good pastier.
Which so much so that he becomes world famous in the Greedo and Bravo
Yeah,
movie.
he does.
He becomes world famous.
What the fuck happened there?
I don't know.
Dude, legit, that was like, what the fuck? Oh, I guess.
Yeah, and-
I mean, hey, you know what? It's like Jay said. It's like, imagine like just being some like shitty dancer and just get mind broken into being like a world famous chef or whatever.
No, that sounds like a
No,
light
pretty
novel title.
interesting.
That sounds like a light novel title. It's like I tried winning in Pokemon battles. I tried manipulating the best of the best, but instead I got mind broken into becoming the best chef ever, or like the best pâtissier ever.
Mind broken by a burly French gay man into becoming his ultimate sidekick in pastry cooking.
Tags, mind broken, French, fucking all this fucking crazy shit.
The fucking Oren Lockseed is such a good
It
show.
is-
Forced feminization.
How did he even do that?
I don't know.
That's a
It's
good
basically-
question.
You know what, Jay? At this point, we have bigger fish to fry.
That's true.
It kind of just occurred to me, just like you can't really talk about Bravo without talking about Jonochi, and then just
Well, we basically.
Well, yeah,
did.
we just did. It's just I think really overall the character of Jonochi is simply going from I'm a shady ass mofo because I don't care about or it's like he kind of cared about Hase, but also kind of didn't. He kind of left that like really shadily.
Yeah.
He's like Diet Michi.
Diet
basically.
Michi, except he got reformed into like a proper man.
Diet? He's more like Shasta.
Okay, no-
my boy.
Shasta. That's a
Okay, no,
I
that's
wouldn't go that
fair.
far.
I see that.
But speaking on Hase, now we go to Zach. So, and now we speak about Now we speak about Yoko,
Now about the energy riders.
and then we
Okay,
speak
you know
about
what,
Sid.
let's say
Sid
no. Let's do our
existed.
best to just do like one word summaries for each of them.
Yoko, Leg, Sid, dead. Takatora,
Cool.
dead. Ryoma, what the fuck?
Zach Knuckle.
Zach was initially supposed
Mister.
to die at the end of when he tried to do his when he tried to kill Bottom.
I can see that, and he should have, and he
I
should
mean,
have.
he got fucking blown up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to walk away from that. Even though he
Was
did.
Zach's rider form a last minute addition?
No, what gave it
actually-
away?
No, to be honest, I'm actually uncertain about that.
What gave it away? The fact that it looks like shit?
No, the fact that he has no faceplate.
Well, to be honest,
Yes, it
there's
was
actually
completely-
there's actually a faceplate planned for him. Actually, it's in like some of the art books.
I 100% believe that he was not supposed to be a writer. It just happened.
I mean, that's why his faceplate is clearly the faceplate on this helmet is clearly just Gaidens, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also, what? Okay, so essentially they knew that there was going to be a weapon inside of that walnut lock seed, but I'm always wondering what was the weapon for that seed, like that one single black and white seed.
Oh, that's a sunflower
You mean-
seed, and there is
that's
none.
a
and
sunflower
there's none.
seed.
Oh, there is none.
There is none, according to the Candy Toy releases and Gashpon releases. Or who knows? Maybe that might change within the CSM releases, which I highly doubt.
Oh yeah, maybe
I
we'll
wouldn't be
get
surprised.
the next Gaim Gaiden with Zach's brother back.
Damn it! He's gonna do that.
Haha, gotta be quicker.
I mean, really, who the fuck else is left there for Gaiden?
Kota's sister.
There's Ryugen.
No,
Yeah, I
no.
don't think
We're gonna
we
give
should-
one. No. We're gonna give one to Peko.
Yeah,
Peko!
Kurokage
Peko doesn't
Shin.
do
Kamen
anything.
Rider
Why
Pekka.
No. I got it. Gaim Gaiden Peko X Rat.
By the way, Rat's actor is actually whatchamacallit. He apparently tried to get his girlfriend to get an abortion. So
What?
Oh.
yeah, so
Oh, that's
we're not seeing his actor anytime soon.
Oh, that's dark. That's dark.
Yeah.
See,
he was-
Urabuchi,
he's-
that's how you subvert expectations.
See, yeah, apparently, recently back in,
You expected to be born. Nope, we're going to subvert that.
yeah,
Holy shit.
yet another day in Toku Podcastu when we find out, wow, that was dark.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's a subversion.
Jay, what the fuck? I'm gonna clip it and put it on Discord.
Do it.
Oh, holy shit. Anyways.
We talked about the energy riders, right?
Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
sure.
Sid, drug dealer.
He's
Yoko,
dead.
Yoke, like
Dead.
very nice.
dead,
line.
and also the weird love interest for Baron? Question mark? What?
She was peaches
Yeah,
and
what the
cream.
fuck was up
She
with that?
made-
That didn't really
Oh, no, sorry.
matter.
No, she made a point of saying like she wanted to see men of power get. She wanted to be the ones who brought them to power, and of course, Kaito
Sure,
was
but how
somebody-
did she bring him to power? She got blown the fuck up.
because it's essentially it's an old thing that goes back to like the I'm gonna be the woman that raises the king raises to it, but that's more of a mother son.
I mean, she raised him in some ways, but Jesus Christ, lady.
Well, there's still one part that she definitely didn't raise for him, clearly.
Oh, dude, you know what's worse
Heyo.
is that no, you know what's worse? You know what's worse is that Kaito's a banana and she's a peach. Those are two emotes you're not supposed to use together, jackass. Ryoma, what happened to him again?
wacky waving lemon man.
What did he do?
evil doctor.
Oh,
He did
He
science.
had a god complex
science.
before Kuroto, except it was actually taken seriously. And then he went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when he found out his...
Man, he
which
should. You know what,
ironically makes
dude?
him less engaging than Kuroto because he wasn't as he was too
You know
serious
what?
about it.
Remember,
You know
to
what,
be
dude?
honest-
This
when
this
he
all
cut his brain out of his head and put it in a robot.
No one does
Not
because no
canon,
one
but
wants
still.
friggin' Hikaida reboot except I did. Except it's not even...
I watched that movie. It was not very good.
it wasn't even
anyways,
relevant to the movie, this season. But anyways.
It wasn't.
No,
Look,
seriously, no. Let's go into this for a second.
Why?
What the fuck were they thinking using Gaim to promote Kikaider of all?
Because they had nothing else to lose.
Well, okay, you know what?
Busters do that for Space Sheriff.
Well, you know what? The real question you should also be asking is, why the fuck are we promoting the World Cup with this movie?
Look, all I'm gonna say is Ryoma should have just stayed in Garo. He was used much better there.
And now we can't
Besides
find him
dying.
because he assaulted people sexually.
He beat up a hooker.
What is with these writers and raping people?
I don't know.
Like,
It's the
come
butcher
on,
curse.
well, it's not even that.
like
good,
guys, can you just not rape? It's easy.
Hey, would you? I don't know.
Remember, don't be raping.
Don't be raping.
I was about to say
Rape, that's a paddling.
I was about to say it could be worse. It could be Gil's actor, but they're all awful.
Well, you could either be a few people. Okay, you could be people like Ryoma or Rat, or you could be like Super One, and not know where the hell he is.
But see, Super One is funny.
yeah,
Because he's on the run from the Yakuza, and that's hilarious to me. Abortion and rape aren't Look, Chad. On the scale of comedy, abortion and rape are not exactly high priorities on my list. Running away from the Yakuza, now that's fucking funny. Anyways, as we go along.
What was
here,
it? I was gonna say something about Ryoma, other than him cutting his fucking brain
He
out.
went to
and then
space?
he goes into space
with the armor heroes.
because capitalism, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my god!
He goes to space with the armor heroes.
Why the fuck did he shoot himself into space?
Because it's funny.
because it's the last bastion that has not.
Look,
been
look,
taken
look,
over by
simple
look.
reason
capitalism.
we could say this is because Team Rocket was blasting off again.
Look, Jay, you ask, why did he shoot himself to space? Ryoma asked, why not? To you, there's no arguing with this guy. He just did it because why the fuck not?
I like Ryoma's an entertaining villain because he's just kind of this smug dickhead who's constantly just like, he doesn't really give a shit about what's going on. He's here for science. Like, there's the one where they're trying to shut down the gate because the gate's opening up in like a crowded area, and he's just like, he's listing off all this techno babble shit. And he's just like, Koda was like, "Wow, is that true?" He's like, "No, I'm just bullshitting here. I'm here sitting on my ass getting paid to do nothing.
I'm sitting here pretending to be busy.
Shit up as I go along." Literally, he says, "I'm just sitting here pretending to be busy."
It's fucking amazing, dude.
He just kind of does whatever the hell he wants, and for a while that's entertaining. But then all the shit with the forbidden fruit come in, and then he starts like the fucking super computer system, and then he shoots himself into space, and then he wants the fruit because
logic.
Yeah. I don't know. Ryoma's a weird character.
He again, if he would have been not super serious towards the end, I think I still would have liked him. Just a fucking wild, wacky scientist, man. That's fine.
He could have been.
That's fine.
I'm gonna be honest. You guys mentioned it that he would have made an okay final boss, and he would have had the reasons for it. He could have used the dragon fruit lock seed. I know it wasn't.
But see, but again, I wasn't. That's why I said at the beginning with the caveat of he has to be tweaked a bit in order for it to work. Or the story has to be tweaked a bit for it to work, because having Ryoma from the beginning of the show be the final boss, knowing how the show turns out, it just wouldn't work, and vice versa. You'd have to tweak it. But anyways, who else do we have to talk about? Because that's pretty much everybody. Oh, Mai, she's a dumb bitch. Moving on.
Well, I guess the only one left is Sagara, really.
I don't care if Michi tried to betray us and kill me and rape me all at the same time. He's a good boy.
Mai's just dumb. The thing is,
yes, she's a dumb bitch.
Even Michi says that what made him attracted to her was that she always found what he said was what he was trying to say was that she always tried to make the best situation, or the best of even the worst situation. And that's actually a pretty admirable trait in somebody. But here's well, I wouldn't say admirable. I would say okay. But she doesn't seem to understand. He's holding you against your will. He's got you dressed up like a doll. He bombed America. He's going to rape you. He ends up leading a mad scientist to kill you.
It's almost like I just said this.
Yeah, she's dumb.
What? I like how we keep saying Michi bombed America when he had no involvement in that plot.
Yes, no. You know what, Jay? He had
I've been doing it too.
He had an involvement because it's his fucking fault that the overlords even came to Japan. It's his fucking fault.
They came to America. They probably
Coming to America 3. Red Juice fun time. Anyways, it's his fucking fault. All right? If he never fucked around, he would have never found out. But the fucking thing is, he didn't find out. We did. We're the one who got bombed.
Yeah.
And guess what? The entirety of the show, it just never mentioned.
Yeah. Thank you, show. But
it just never fucking mentioned.
So we were gonna talk about Sagara, or how's it? Is it pronounced Sagara or Sagara?
Sagara.
Yeah, either
Sagara is. We find out that instead of him being, he's not just this announcer for the beat writers. He's like the beat writers hotline. He's also the one that gives Koda a lot of his upgrades, because he says he wants to make it interesting. And we find out later on that he's actually the embodiment of the Helheim forest, because he's a snake. That doesn't make sense if he's the forest, because, again, with the snake, he should have been a Satan-like figure.
It's symbolism.
I get it's symbolism, but the symbolism should have been differently.
Yes, we know you're Robuchi. You read the Bible for 5
Bible.
minutes. You have the King James Bible on Game Boy. Fuck off.
You
Anyways.
know what?
But it probably does.
The best way to easily summarize Sagara would be simply, I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to find out from a nice and safe distance. And let's just see how things play out. Mainly because, you know what? This show won't happen. You know, if at the rate this show's going, it's going to go to Kaito anyways. It would have been pretty obvious. So, you know what? Let's just kind of see what happens.
But that's the weirdest thing, okay? Like, he says that he's only doing it to evolve, like, make the fish into lizards and make the monkeys into humans, or whatever the fuck bullshit he was saying to me. Like, he was saying all this shit, but it's like, okay, but are you supposed to be an unbiased third party, or are you supposed to be somebody who deliberately chooses people for no reason? Because he even says himself at the beginning, like towards the end, the fruit can choose anybody, the forest can choose anybody. But it's like, but by this point, you've chosen Kota like 3 fucking times, so you're biased.
It's weirder too because he repeatedly, at points where it is convenient for him, says that he's just like an observer, that he's just here to watch. He's not here to meddle in anything, but he constantly meddles by giving Kota fucking upgrades. And, like, look, on one hand, like, him breaking Kota out of jail is one thing, because that's Kota being unfairly removed from the game through unfair advantages. So that's him just, like, leveling the playing field because everybody else was cheating. But then him giving him a fucking power-up is like, okay, then that's now you're stretching it a bit,
Helheim.
And then he gets another upgrade. He gives him another upgrade.
And then he gives him Kachidoki because he was sad that he murdered his friend. And then he gives him fucking Kiwami because forbidden fruit, please understand.
Again, it's like you said, he constantly says he's an observer, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, if you're an observer, then why are you constantly interfering? Like, why? He's not like the Watcher in fucking Marvel. He's just, hey, I'm here now. Here's a power-up. It's like, well, why didn't you never give Kaido one? What the fuck? What are you, racist?
You know what?
What's wrong with you?
I think, again, this is also probably a horrible, kind of the example I kind of noticed. It's like, kind of like, scientific method in this case, like a controlled variable, a controlled variable, and also what was the other one? Basically, a control group, and also like something with experimenting, obviously. Where it's obviously
the experimental group and the control group.
Yeah, there we go. I don't science for the love of God.
It's okay. Neither do I.
But yeah, like I think that could have been like the thing he was going for. It's like, okay, let's see what happens if I kind of screw around in this corner versus like this one that's just kind of plowing everything down already. But, you know, like in that case, the argument still stands though on your end though, and I agree. And it's like, why are you just favoring Kota in this case?
Well, yeah, but see, that's the weird thing is that, like, from what he implies, he's never interfered this much before. Like, Rosho, or whatever the fuck his fucking froggy-ass name was, he was never, like, given shit by Sagara. Because even Rosho's just like, what the fuck, why are you helping these guys so much? Like, he straight up asked. So that implies Sagara never did anything like this before. So why now? Oh, that's right, because the show wouldn't happen, of course.
If he was somebody who wanted to see the game get interesting and he was helping out the sides when needed to, he should have been doing that for the Yggdrasil side as well.
Yeah. Or I think it could have also been this as well. Like, again, like going back to the beginning of what we said at the beginning of this episode, what was Kota's goal? One can argue at the beginning, it's just like, this is just a man trying to find a part-time job during the middle of the apocalypse. And which I'd also admittedly make another really interesting...
Actually, that would be...
That would be
a really funny show.
Light novel title or something like that, right? But, like...
Honestly, that would be a really funny writer show. It's just, like, this random guy, there's an apocalypse. He's like, I just want a job.
I just need a part-time job. It's just like... You know,
that would have been a great show, actually.
No, I think the more I think about it is, like, the reason why it's also like, Kota's just a goofball. It's just like, yeah, you know what? He's also just a part-timer trying to find a... It's like, he's just a guy trying to find a part-time job during the middle of the apocalypse. You know what? That's relatable, and that's why I like him. But anyways,
and even then, he gets given the job. He gets given the job by the owner of the duper place that they go to, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for somebody who's for a part timer, you know, somebody who's good with their hands and is also willing to protect Zawame. Hey, Kota, you interested? I'm hired. Yeah,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Okay, you know what? To be honest, first off, I don't know why he didn't go to him first. Because just like they already seem pretty chummy and like, you know, they're like already buddies, so it's like, why the hell not? But anyways, also it just occurred to me, another good light novel title. I tried looking sequel. I tried looking for a part-time job during the middle of the apocalypse and somehow became God.
So like again, this goes back to the idea that Sagara, his plan is technically make evolution happen,
Yeah.
right? That's what his plan is. But
Well, technically speaking, he doesn't even have a plan because
yeah, he even says like after I make evolution happen, I don't know.
Because he's just a physical manifestation of Helheim's whatever. So his plan is just to keep Helheim doing whatever it's doing. So he could literally have just sat on his ass the entire show and literally nothing changes because he doesn't need to do anything. Other than them somehow destroying Helheim, which seems like it's impossible because he just ends up on another planet at the end of the show and can end up on multiple planets. So, and because again, it seems like the game has been going on forever and ever. As far as we know, the fucking game of Helheim has been going on since the beginning of time itself.
With time loops, by the way.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So as far as we know, there's just multiple copies of Helheim on other planets in other dimensions.
You know what? It also it makes me wonder. Just like maybe the reason why he also basically got in between, I guess, like Kota and Kaito is because or literally only went to Kota is literally because just again, we also established, and I'm going back to the original points I was saying earlier. Kota literally does nothing. He does not change. And it's just like, okay, you know what? Everyone else is being proactive. Just like, you know what? Let's just see what happens when we give it to the guy that's just not doing anything.
See, it comes off as just lazy because every single time he's on screen, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to play the mysterious puppet master. Ooh, what's his real plan? What's his this? What's his that? But it's like, he doesn't have one. He just fucks off. Like at the end of the show, he just fucks off. It's like, all right, bye, see ya.
Basically,
it's whatever.
It's kind of like the Sailor Moon meme. It's like, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything, and then he leaves.
Essentially, yes.
Except he kind of did something.
That's he kind of did, but that's the problem is that we can't even really talk about what his plan or his goal is because the fucking plot happening is his goal. He doesn't need to do anything, but he does for some reason. But he's inconsistent about it. But he pretends like he otherwise is, and I don't know, man.
It's because he likes Kota's abs.
I mean, look, that's a good enough reason.
He's
Is
on
like,
those.
cool, okay, I like Kota. I think he's a funny guy. I'm gonna help him out, but then he's just like, sorry, bro, I can't solve this plot problem with my superpowers, even though I could literally just snap my fingers and destroy everything because I'm the fucking devil, basically. I can't interfere until I can.
Which comes to a bigger problem in total.
If he, like, I think Phil or I think we've all said it at this point. If he was just fucking helping everybody, I think, and he's kind of helping Helheim early on, but the only way he's really helping is that he's monitoring the beat writers, and even then, that's just him being an observer, a commentator, like he already was to begin with. So it doesn't even really benefit him to do so, and there isn't really any reason for him to give out anybody power-ups or anything like that. It's a fucking, I don't know, man.
It all comes
Whatever.
back to the idea, and I'm going to talk about this because Saga is directly connected to it. This all comes back to that fucking golden fruit, the forbidden fruit, and that bullshit that we had to see with fucking Rosho. So
What are you, Adam and Eve, talking about I'm getting kicked out of paradise?
Oh.
Yeah.
no, so okay, let's take this for example real quick, all right? We had this guy, Rosho, Overlord, big scary motherfucker. Okay, sweet, cool, bye-bye. He wants to revive his wife. And he literally says, this golden fruit, the super duper MacGuffin that turns me to a god that can do anything, can revive my wife. Which then, immediately, like within 2 episodes, he makes life out of the fucking ether. So what's the issue? But see, that's only a fraction of the problem, because then Sagara, to his face, tells Kota, well, you can't really save the earth. You can't have your cake and eat it too, because the fruit can't do that. And Coach is just like, no, I'm going to do that. And then he does. It's like, so it's all bullshit? Is this fruit just fucking bullshit? It just does whatever you want it to? Because if that's the case, what the fuck was the issue with just stopping Helheim? The fucking bullshit. It's so fucking stupid. Like, my brain actually popped watching that fucking scene.
I mean, I guess technically speaking, Sagara never at any point said that, oh, he couldn't just go to another planet. He's like, yeah, it's going to destroy the planet if you win or not. If whoever wins, the planet's going to get destroyed. But he never at any point was like, I mean, I guess technically you can go to a different planet. I mean, it's retarded still. It's a cop-out, but...
He basically...
I mean, sure, it's not like he never said you could go into space, because everybody else is already going into space in this show.
He says, and I quote, "If you won't sacrifice the world of the past, you two have no future." He says that to his face. And Coach is just like...
but I don't think that means literally that you're destroying the world. I think that just means... Oh, you can't cling on to your old reality, your old destiny, and while keep moving.
Oh,
forward.
so he's gonna choose now to be the fucking Riddler?
I guess so.
Because fuck it, I guess. Whatever. Fuck it. Fuck this show. I hate it.
I mean, look, as we learned, you can only speak in riddles when you have time travel powers, except for when you can't. Except for when you can. I don't fucking know.
Which is just something else. Which is just a whole other thing. There's time travel technically in this show, which means how many times has this happened? How many times has Gaim happened that we just don't know about it? See, I had this theory when I first watched the show. We were technically watching the epilogue of the bad ending. You know what I mean? Where, like, It's supposed to be Yuya. It's supposed to have... All the shit's just supposed to be as smooth as butter. But Yuya fucking died, which is the bad ending. So now we're stuck with this asshole. So that would have been interesting. But no, this is just the good ending. And Mai's just going to keep going back in time forever, which is a fucking paradox, until she goes back in time so hard she goes back to the literal Sengoku era because, lol. What the fuck?
You know what I was saying about, like, a while back in the chat of just, like, no, this literally takes from, like, literally all the works that, like, Urobuchi worked on, right? Yeah, this would be another part of him taking from the Fate franchise because of all the different routes that has. Aside from the fact that they're already replicating the Holy Grail War when they're fighting over the Holy Grail, which is magic and grants everything they want, and, what else? And then you have the ending of Madoka Magica and God and whatnot.
See, dude, I'm so glad I've never watched any of those because my brain would just fucking die.
I'd be like, I mean, to be honest, like, works...
I mean, you technically already have because it's the same ending.
I mean, yeah, sure. But, like, I mean, like, I'm glad I didn't watch those beforehand because watching Gaim and then watching those two, I would be like, you're a fucking hack more than I already thought you were.
Like, to be honest, like, if anything, like, Fate Zero, the way that, or Fate in general, that ends with at least him destroying the MacGuffin and saying, like, no, the MacGuffin was, like, basically evil in nature, and let's, like, not do that, so then he basically screws that whole race over. Not the human race, but it's just, like, he basically screws over that whole journey. It's just like, yeah, because you know what, it's like, everything here is kind of built on a lie, so screw that, let's not do that. That was at least Fate. Again, sorry about that, but basically just... Again, Fate Zero was written by Urobuchi. The overall Fate universe was written by someone else, which is probably why we have a different ending. But then again, all the Fate fans are also probably going to get on my ass on the fact that I don't know everything specifically, because all those guys are pains in the asses. But I digress. But I think, like, if works on their own, they're perfectly fine. If you want to compare and contrast them, you're going to see the patterns mainly because it's Urobuchi. Same thing with this show. It's going to be obvious, but at the same time, I also tried to go into the show just purely as a writer show on its own without having to look at his works, even though I clearly did that anyways. But
see, that's the thing. I came into the show for a fourth time, by the way, without ever watching any of his other works. And I'm just like, even as just by itself, as the only Urobuchi work that I'm aware of, this is fucking stupid. It's bad. Like, it's just... Everything about it just comes off as, like, I mean, I know Urobuchi's an insane person, but it comes off as a literal insane person writing shit. Like, it's like, what is going on? Which comes to the ending, and which we have Michi being fucking redeemed, basically.
He did not deserve redemption.
Fuck off, dude. What?
The amount of things that he did would make him irredeemable unless he had to do the most highest thing that you could do to get redeemed, and even then you wouldn't get redeemed.
See, the thing is with this is that it really should have ended an episode early, much like Double in that case.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, 100% so. But see, okay. Again, because here's the thing, Chad. People are going to come after us if I don't say this. I get it. I understand exactly what they're doing with Michi. Everybody's forgiving him for the most part because, hey, you did some bad things, man, but hey, we're still bros. Which would be okay if the most heinous thing he did was shoot Kota in the back that one time. And, like, for a couple episodes had, like, a shitty mock heel turn. But no! He's killed potentially thousands of people. He's kidnapped people. He's murdered people. He's attempted to murder people. And overall, he's just been a complete asshole. It's like, why are any of you guys giving this guy the time of day? To the point where Zach is like, hey, want to dance with us again? It's like, what? What? Are you like, mental?
Even Pico
I wouldn't
no.
Yeah, fucking Pico of all characters is the only one who's like, hey, why are we letting Michi be redeemed? Why the fuck are we letting him run around? And why are we even talking about him?
Why are we just okay with this?
Why are we just okay with
this? You
also
got to think about it. He was, aside from everyone else, like, he's, I think, the one that, like, he's done, like, Michi did the most damage to. Because, like, he basically got, like, Inves thugs and beat the shit out of him before kidnapping Mai, basically.
You were saying,
yeah.
Jay?
So it's...
My point, the point I was going to make is that I don't necessarily think Michi trying to... If Michi was trying to redeem himself, that's one thing. Like, if everybody still hated him, but he's still, like, hanging around, like... Even if you keep the epilogue the same, where he still has his belt and he's kind of running around mopping up Inves and taking care of problems and doing stuff like that, you know, he's filling in Kota's place, and everybody still kind of doesn't trust him, and everybody kind of hates him, and he's been ostracized by everybody, and well, his brother's kind of gone, and he's kind of hanging around still, but he's kind of all fucked up from getting murdered, and they're trying to patch up the awkwardness. I think if you worked with it a little bit better, like if he wasn't immediately instantly forgiven by everybody, I think it would work better. I'd be fine with him being that kind of the secret hero, I guess,
or like,
where everybody kind of thinks he's a douchebag, but he's actually doing good. I think that would work better.
Redeeming himself from the shadows.
Or like, basically an unredeemed hero in that case.
Yeah.
Yes, that too. Where he's working to get redemption, but everybody still doesn't believe him because it's been like 3 months after he fucking tried to blow up the world, and it's, because he was already a psychopath to begin with. Nobody thinks it's serious.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been a little more interesting of an angle, but I don't necessarily hate how they're doing it already. I do think it's just kind of bizarre that everybody's just fine with it. I think that's more my problem, is that everybody is fine with it. Like, even if fucking fine, like Zach can be fine with it out of any character, because Zach is the only person who doesn't have any fucking reason to hate Michi beyond, other than the whole tried to sell out humanity thing. He's like what the fuck did he do to Zach? Like, he kidnapped Mai, who
killed my
barely
boyfriend.
Knew. He killed Kaido, maybe. Not really. He tried to kill Pico, maybe.
But see, okay.
Yeah, Zach being cool with him is one thing, but everybody just being like, hey, cool, let's hang out again, even though you tried to murder us all 3 weeks ago.
But see, okay. There's two things here. One, it's the amount of things and the severity of the shit that he did that I just can't buy him being redeemed in this way at all. Like, at all. Because... I'm sorry, but dude, you basically caused Armageddon because you were horny. You're fucking retarded. And two, the biggest thing is is that it's not even just the fact that they're trying to redeem him in the epilogue. Mai and Kota constantly, and I mean constantly, try to fucking say that he's a good guy. May I post these two fucking bangers from Mai right here? Should I just post these here? If someone betrays you once, is that it? Just because someone betrayed you doesn't mean you shouldn't trust them? And those are the two most damning of the fucking bullshit they make me go through with this guy. It says it's like, if at least Mai hated him, like if Kota didn't hate him, fine, I guess, whatever. But at least Mai should have some sort of, not animosity, but some sort of like reluctance to even be around this guy. But no, both of them are constantly saying he's a cool dude though. But he tried to kill, but he's a cool dude. Yeah. But he nuked a country. No, but he's cool though. Like, no, I'm sorry, no, that doesn't work. Because then it kind of comes off as just stupid because, like, I guess you could literally just kill somebody in this universe and people will be cool with you. I can go kill fucking Pecco's sister that he didn't know he had, and everyone will be cool with it. It's fine.
I mean, everybody basically was, so.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the fact that, and of course, because it's Kota and Mai, they're in front and center, so they get most of the screen time with this bullshit. It's just the fact that they keep hammering it in that they want to forgive Michi. They're going to forgive Michi over and over and over. And I'm just like, you have to actually be mentally deficient to think this is okay with anybody here. Except for, like, again, Zack. Because who the fuck gives a shit about Zack? But, like, everybody else knows what this guy's done. So why is anybody even giving this guy the time of day? Like, I wouldn't. But then again, I'm an actual fucking person with a fucking brain, apparently. But, like, why would anybody give him the time of day? That's why I'm saying, if he just betrayed Kota that one time and then had, like, that mock heel turn from Drive, sort of, then yeah, fine. Yeah. I could see that. It's not as severe, and maybe he can actually redeem himself before the ending. You know? I could see that, but no, I'm sorry, but no, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve this at all. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Well, that's the most that can be said. What else happens in the ending?
Nothing.
Kota comes back to Earth to fight against to
fight fucking Jam.
Jam takes a break from his Uber Eats job.
Yeah. Or no, this is Jam before his Uber Eats job. This is like, it was this loss that led him into.
Oh, this was still when he was to a DoorDash.
Yes. And then also at some point, Bondo eventually became a shut-in at like a junkyard and started killing people.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking about that one. That was
yeah,
I know, right?
I don't know, but then again, just like
and then something about like some cannibal became the Borg or something.
Yeah,
I mean, Gaim really went off the fucking rails, dude.
You know, to be honest, I kind of wish we knew. I kind of wish we knew more about Bondo actually, because you know what, I think I don't know. Apparently there are rumors of saying like he used to be like some lawyer's assistant, and then he got moved up to like the big city, like some corporate position for like a secret organization.
Yeah,
and then he got let go, and then he got here, and then eventually went rock bottom.
I mean, hey, 2008 was a bad place.
I think he was he was like a teacher too in some sort of like weird like remedial school in Shibuya. Or something.
Oh, dude, I remember that, dude. That honestly, they gave Bondo a lot of backstory in this show.
I know.
Yeah, his backstory was really convoluted at some point.
I know, right? It's kind of cool though. I'm kind of with it. I wish we would see a little bit more of that. Maybe in a Gaiden.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bondo 15. Who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of Gaidens, what was the fuck? Remember when Takatori went to fucking Eastern Europe for no reason and relived the Beat Rider?
No. It's just like
that was a fucking
the whole thing, like Takatori reliving all that with amnesia. No, he just not even just the Beat Rider saga. It's just literally the whole season. Except with less likable characters, even more so than the actual season.
See, it's weird though, because like the weirdest part about that stage play is when like he was on the phone talking about a guy who wore underwear on his head. It's really fucking weird, dude.
What? Yeah, I don't.
I know. Right? I mean,
that was really weird.
Look, Gaim gets really weird, guys. I'm not gonna
also
lie.
there's also the light novel where apparently Decade makes a crossover and like encourages Michi.
Yeah.
No, you think I'm actually kidding about that? I'm not kidding about that.
That's perfectly in character for Tsukasa, though, is to be like, yeah, Michi, you just keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's totally cool.
Yo, Michi, what's up, bud? You're into rape now? Bro, me too. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
He would.
You know what?
That's
That sounds
totally in
exactly
character for him, though.
that sounds exactly like a novel writer would make.
And he just like fucking walks away and goes to Natsumi. It's just like, you fucking believe it. I can't believe it.
I told this motherfucker to shoot his friend in the back, and he fucking did it, dude. What the fuck?
The absolute madman.
I heard he's gonna nuke America tomorrow too. What the fuck?
Okay. The Gaim timeline is so damn stupid. So basically, like, part of Duke happens before the season, obviously mainly because it's, it's whatchamacallit, it's Duke, you have all the flashbacks with the Genesis writers and whatnot. Then you have the series proper, and then somewhere sprinkled in between that is actual Duke, and then Zangetsu and Baron, like that whole thing when Baron has like a double, and then Zangetsu apparently has sex or something like that, which is really weird.
Yeah, Takatoru gets a girlfriend who's secretly an asshole,
And Kaito's
and his dad
Yeah.
died.
And
For
apparently
no
his-
reason,
Kaito's
and
actor gets to act like a goofball.
Well, it's not Kaito's actor being a goofball. It's just more or less him being him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You should give the guy an Oscar for that alone, because apparently he goes from this frou-frou sissy boy to Kaito and
That's
fucking.
actually pretty interesting that he's able to do like such polar opposite characters, even
Yeah.
though the other one that he doesn't really play, it's actually what he's like in real life.
Yeah, like, honestly,
to be fair,
There was that really weird Gaiden too, where Kaido was in like a van and he was naked and.
Oh
dude
yeah,
with, like,
I remember
dicks
that.
out.
He was
Like what the.
dude. He was sitting with Blade.
Yeah, no. He wasn't with him, but it was like the same van Blade was in too for that.
Oh,
video.
he
It
was giving Blade the helping hand. I got you.
Yeah, and then like yeah, I don't know if they put like makeup on him, but his nipples were huge. I don't know what the fuck? Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
so
dude. I really hope someone listens to this and they're just like, what the is this actually true?
There are things that we know
literally-
that from years ago.
like, aside from that, though, like, the Gaim timeline is really stupid. What else? Then the series proper happens, and then you have Gaiden Knuckle happening, which is apparently like, oh yeah, so basically the cultists from like Duke's special. Oh my god, they shouldn't have added the
doesn't make
cultists.
sense.
They shouldn't have added them. We're gonna be honest. But anyways,
Why did Zawame need a?
I
fucking
don't
role?
know. And
So
like
the thing is,
a cult of
here's
like
something
kamikaze
I've-
bombers.
No, wait. This is what I've noticed. So with the Gaim Gaidens, there's always a through line that kind of connects them. With Zangetsu Baron, it was the Ringo Lockseed.
Yeah.
But with Duke and Knuckle, it was the Black Bodhi tree cult.
Yes.
But that doesn't. But the thing is, they're so spread apart timeline wise. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that's
It's fine. It's
yeah,
not canon.
that's not according to the official Toei timeline. I don't remember where I saw it.
Well, Toei's stupid.
Well, yeah, it is stupid. I'm not even done yet. So basically, yeah. So apparently, Knuckle is supposed to die again in his special, but then we find out in the light novel that he actually didn't die. And then apparently those are like
He was only mostly.
yeah,
dead.
he was only mostly dead or something. I don't know. But then like apparently the novel's supposed to explain where the whole blood orange Lockseed came from like the Gaim Wizard movie, and then also like them basically taking apart the cults and like Knuckle, Bravo, Gridon, who else? Zangetsu, and Ryugen all have their belts back. There's some apparently really cool arms changes that I would have liked to seen, like Ryugen, Dragon Fruit, Jinba Dragon Fruit or something like that, and then Melon, or like Zangetsu, Jinba Melon. Again, that also would have been pretty cool.
I know they made an SIC
Yeah,
figure
they
of
did.
Jimba Melon.
But just like all these suits that are apparently supposed to have happened there, and like we will never see them because it's a novel. And then after that, the Zangetsu stage play happened, in which Zangetsu's kind of closing up ends in like I'm assuming Russia. They don't say Russia, but I'm assuming it's Russia.
It's in not like it's
Not
somewhere
Russia?
in like southern Russia, like right on the border of like fuck, what
Vladivostok?
country is that again? I don't remember. No.
Czechoslovakia.
Closer to like the Middle Eastern parts. It's like not Turkey or something like that. Is
Yeah.
where its
Turkey.
location is basically.
So
It's like, I accidentally, the whole country, when I was testing my super death. Oh my god, how did we not fucking talk about Yggdrasil having a super death laser before now?
Yes!
They had a super death laser in their tower. What the
That code is destroyed.
Yeah, that was weird. So we find out that Takatora accidentally a whole country, and he goes back there for reasons, and then gets shot, gets amnesia, and gets stuck in a bad remake of the entire
Except
season.
this-
Except there, he's standing there and making snarky comments, and also Zox Goldtweaker is there
Yep.
for some reason.
Oh my god, that's right.
and then like friggin' like Gaim also basically repossesses like the whiniest like
Yeah,
member.
fucking Koda
Yeah, okay,
shows
like,
up
also-
and possesses a guy, which for fucking I don't know how Koda has the power to possess people now. I don't know
Because-
why he's not
He's
doing
a
because
it.
God, I don't know.
guys, he can do anything.
Because God. And just like, okay, like, and then also, let's just go over the names real quickly. Gaim. Why? And then also, just like, they had to make, like,
They're all, I looked it up. They're all named after characters from King Solomon, which is like okay. I mean, I don't know why we did that, but it's
Yeah.
weird. Not Jinochi was what the fuck was his name? It was like
Bunochi.
Foras or something. And then we have not Bravo, his name is Belial, and
Excuse me?
good fucking god. I was honestly kind of offended by his character. He was really if you think Orin is outrageous, good fucking god, he makes Orin look tame.
Are you serious?
He's really bad.
yeah, he's pretty bad.
like full on I'm super.
Thanks for
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, like he keeps referring to himself as a woman. He's like stop calling me an old lady. Like everybody keeps calling him like a woman, and he's got a really effeminate, like more so than Orin already is.
Like, does he have like the full lisp and shit?
As close as you can get to that in Japanese, but he's really high pitched and like girly and obnoxious and
Yeah, like, it's...
The shit they get away with in stage shows, my man.
Like, I think, if anything, the best way you can explain, like, Proto Bravo's characters, like, he does speak with, I wouldn't say pronouns, per se, but it's, like, the Japanese equivalent of, well, I guess it would be kind of pronouns. It's hard to explain unless you speak Japanese, but it's, like, it's one of those things...
Feminine speeches.
Yeah, effeminate
Speech
speeches,
tags,
yeah. That would be, like, the best way to really explain that.
Oh, dude, that sounds spicy.
It's really
Yeah.
stupid if you like I don't mind Gaiden this season, but the stage show really tested my patience. I really hated it.
That when it
like, it's
offends
weird 'cause,
Jay,
like,
Jesus.
the stage show isn't like awful at points. Like whenever it's just Takatora and just like the main
Yeah.
villain, it's kind of good, as unnecessary as it is to the information.
It's
because,
fine,
like,
yeah.
much like his own Gaiden, it keeps lessening Takatora's relevance because we keep getting more people higher up in the food chain than him. And he's like, oh, like, because in the show it kind of he's like he's the big fucking boss
Yeah.
of this specific branch like of the Yggdrasil overall, and then we find out, oh, okay, there's multiple branches, and he's just like the head of this branch. And it's like, oh, okay, he only became head like a couple of years ago, and oh, he wasn't even like anybody important overall in the organization. And it's like, oh, there was other guys.
Oh,
too.
he's just
And
the
it's like,
assistant manager.
Yeah.
yeah, like they keep lessening his like position with more retcons, and it gets a little weird. And I mean, I kind of liked the whole thing they set up with the guy because it kind of mirrored him and Koda, with Takatora being Koda,
Yeah.
and I liked that idea. But the whole stage show is just kind of dull.
Like,
I don't
I
know.
think if anything, this probably would have worked better as, like, what they did with Bravo and Gridon. Like, that special. Versus, like, literally retelling the whole season of Gaim in 2.5 hours with people that are generally worse. Because, like, I think the worst of them was,
but grittier and edgier.
yeah, like, I think the worst of them was, a Proto Gaim. And just, like, I've
Oh my god, he was fucking
I found
awful.
him grating. I found him a lot more
Ugh.
grating.
That's what happens when you don't have an actor that actually can act.
Oh! But then, yeah.
Well,
We had a Zangetsu Kachidoki arms. It's cool. And then after that, Gridon versus Bravo, which is more or less Bravo and Gridon shenanigans, which everyone...
Bravo gets a berserker form, and basically that's about it. And then we have another fucking apple arms person who
It's
shows
technically
up.
not an apple. It's supposed to.
Yeah, I know it's not.
It's a Helheim
it's
fruit,
it's a
but the
fucking
armor.
kid
I
now.
know
Nobody
what you mean.
cares.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm talking.
Nobody
I'm
cares
talking
is
about,
what they said when they were writing.
I'm talking
the
about
script.
the lock scene, not the armor. I know what you're talking about.
And fucking Hase's ghost shows up to give Shinochi a new lock seed, which
Because
I
he
guess
just
he can
can't
just
do
do.
now? I mean, I guess he just mastered the ability to become a Force Ghost.
Well, I think...
guess.
Let's just put it this
And he
way.
also doesn't say anything, which is weird. Why the fuck? Why the hell did they get his actor back to be on screen for 10 seconds and not say anything? Like what?
You
the
know,
fuck?
you could see it
Because
in
this
his
was
eyes.
during the time of Zio where they just didn't give a fuck.
No, this was
That's
actually...
true. No, this wasn't even Zio. It was
Yeah,
Saber.
no,
He's right. It's
Oh my god,
this
you're
was Saber.
right.
Like, basically,
So they
here's the
didn't
thing.
give a fuck
like,
times
with-
2.
Yeah, because, also, remember, we saw Bravo and Gridon just make a random cameo in Saber for no good reason.
It was for this.
But aside from that, though, just more or less, that special is more or less forgivable. It's enjoyable. It is whatever. It's not bad. But yeah, that's all of Gaim, guys, so far. Just wait until the next special they make.
Yeah, like I said, Pecco X fucking rat. No, you know what? Just to piss me off, it's gonna be like Chica and Chucky, or Rika and Chucky, whatever the fuck it's called.
Or no, it's gonna be Rat and Ryoma.
Okay. So
We already got one.
I gotta ask
No, we're gonna get
something.
another one.
Bondo is finally.
Oh, yeah,
getting-
Bondo.
Dude, Bond, let's go.
Bondo, no.
Yes.
You know what? Above Bondo...
Honestly, no, actually,
no, above
legit.
Takatora and Bravo, Bondo was the best character.
Dude, okay. I mentioned this to Jay, and it only cemented itself further when we got to the end of the show. Bondo, I feel like, was supposed to be something more. I don't think he was really just supposed to be some mentor, because there's a couple of times where he's a little too in the know. A little too in the know for what he's saying, and it just feels like, I think they had plans for you. They just didn't go with them. Because, I don't know, there's just something about him that I'm just like, you feel too important, but they keep forgetting about you. I don't know, dude. It was weird. Ugh.
Chad, you're the Gaim guy. When it came to the Bravo Gridon thing, what the heck was all that stuff about mutated Helheim fruits?
Yeah, don't ask me. Look, the long story short of this one is basically the fact that, oh hey, it's almost Gaim's 10-year anniversary. Oh hey, we should re-release the CSM Sengoku driver and also actually add new lock seeds that people are gonna want to buy. And here we are.
It came,
It was,
so it
it's
came
all
out of their
marketing.
butts. It didn't come from the Zangetsu stage show. It didn't
Well,
come from the
look,
light novel.
here's the thing. Like, they're all connected in some way, basically. This takes place after the Zangetsu stage show. In this case, like, this story came out of their butts mainly because, like, 4 out of 5 of the, or I guess 3 out of 4 of the, Gaim Gaidens, this being, Zangetsu, Baron, Duke Knuckle, and also Greedo and Bravo, none of these were written by Urobuchi or overseen by him. The only one that Urobuchi oversaw was the Zangetsu stage show. But Lord Almighty, I don't know why he decided to just say, hey, let's retell the story again. So, I don't know.
So,
But yeah.
with that being said, there have been things said and things left unsaid. And things edited out because, well, it went too long. So, with that being said,
More
guys,
unlikely.
Eh.
I know what I'm cutting. Anyways, let's just get
Well,
down.
as long as we're cutting stuff.
Don't even.
I mean, I was just gonna cut out Phil's audio, but okay.
Why is it always my audio?
I don't. Anyways, so as I was saying, let's just say fuck it now because fuck it. Final thoughts, Phil.
Oh,
I got you.
all right.
I got you.
Honestly, the pacing of the show was good. It has a lot of problems. I can understand why I get why a lot of people like it, but not as overblown as it should be. This has a lot of problems. Did I enjoy watching it? Yes. Were there things that I noticed that were wrong with it? Yes. Did it ruin the experience though? I wouldn't say yes or no.
Pussy. Chad.
AJ, Jay, Phil, you guys took away everything I liked about this season. Now I'm gonna throw away my Sengoku driver, my CSM, my jacket, my shirt, everything I bought from Japan. You guys suck.
I'll take the CSM.
Just gonna go out into the street naked.
You know, I'm gonna be that one Spider-Man art of just like the Spider-Man suit in the trash can.
Oh, you're gonna be Amazing Spider-Man 50. So long. Goodbye,
You
Spider-Man.
fucking nerd.
I'm a nerd. Yes.
We're all nerds.
You know what? Yeah.
Anyway,
You know what?
Chad,
I would
go
fucking.
for it.
I think that would be really cool to see. That'd be a fun little picture. Yeah.
But anyways,
Chad,
to be honest, no, I see a lot of the flaws with this season. Admittedly, like again, rewatching it, and like I was saying in the chat a while back, for this show I did a lot of preparation. As you could see, I rewatched the whole season, all the movies, all the Gaidens. Also did a little bit of extra research by watching other shows like Psychopaths, Madoka Magica, and also Fate Zero, just to kind of see connections. And basically, I put in 110%. It's honestly, Gaim is, again, it's repetitive. It's not exactly a great show. I don't know. Again, I was just kind of told by AJ earlier, literally, that a lot of people are saying that Gaim did original things. When I feel like I saw the opposite in terms of people saying like, oh yeah, like it does all these other things. And I was like, you can see in these works, it's totally original for like Rider, which is kind of weird seeing both ends of the spectrum. But I digress. It's not exactly original the more we think about it, but I think if anything, coming off of like the heels of Wizard, which had like the 2-episode format structure, basically this was a nice, refreshing breath of air in which I enjoyed the continuous storyline and not having like a complete monster of the week saying like I'm going to destroy Zalame City versus just like let's deepen the world, let's do the world building, let's do all these things to like basically explore basically the world of Gaim. And I think because of that especially it was a lot more of an enjoyable ride for me, very nostalgic. It's not a good season, but it's still very much one of my favorites. I'm not going to say it's the best. Like, many people will tell me about, like, Build. And I'm not going to be that guy that slaps other people with a Sengoku driver and say that Gaim is the best, like other people, because it really isn't. If you want a good show, go watch Kuga, Agito, or Blade. But I think, for now, it still largely is one of my favorites, and I still have a soft spot for it despite all the flaws for the show. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the show.
Jay.
Well, I'll say this much: Butcher wears his influences on his sleeve for this show, and somewhat to its detriment. Overall, it's fine. I like ragging on Gaim mostly because, well, for one, it's easy, and two, Gaim fans get really rationally upset. But it's an okay show. It's not like the worst or anything. It's pretty just kind of average. But I think the biggest problem, and I think a big reason why it's so divisive, is that because It was, as we know, many people's first experience with Rider, and many of them don't shut the fuck up about it and have never bothered to look at anything else. Much like IBO and Gundam, Gaim kind of forever ruined the fan base because it's still so divisive with people who started with it and people who didn't, and that's influenced a lot of discussion and a lot of insight even to this day. And for that, it's a little weird looking back on and just kind of being like, oh, okay, this is just kind of all right. I mean, I didn't watch Gaim when it was airing. I was in the fan base. I wasn't really actively watching the seasons at that point, but I was kind of following along, seeing what was happening, and I was like, oh, okay, this seems like it's going kind of crazy. And then I finally got around to watching, and I was like, oh, this is it? All right. So I think as a latecomer, I didn't quite get as the same experience as everybody else, but even then, it's just kind of okay. It really doesn't quite hold up to the hype, but it's not terrible or anything. As much as I like to make fun of it, it's not awful. It's all right.
All right. Whatever. Look, I'm going to be completely honest. I went into this show and I know this sounds like the douchebag thing. I know. But I really went into this show thinking maybe I'll see something a bit different. I'll be completely honest, guys. This is my 4th time watching this show. First time was by myself. Second time was with my nephew. Third time was with my ex. And the 4th time is by myself again. That's a really bad evolution, I know. But still, I watched the show 4 times. And each time I did get something more out of it. But that's not necessarily positive. Look, Jay already said it. This show has been shoved down people's throats for years as like this perfect show. Everything about it's perfect. Nothing's bad. Blah, 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 blah. And the fact of the matter is it's not. It really isn't. It's fine. Honestly, I would rather somebody just stop at episode 18 and be like, all right, well, that's done. Bye, guys. That's perfect. That's perfectly fine to stop. If you stopped there, the show would have been average at least. But there's so much shit in this show that just makes me break my head just thinking, how did one guy think that this sounded good? Like, did he not have any editors? Did he not have any people looking over what he was writing? Because there's so much shit here that I'm just like, where are we going with this, Butcher? Like, come on, give me something here. Like, where are we going here? And it just came off as schizophrenic. It came off as, honestly, it just came off as stupid at some points. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's Guy. I'm not going to sit here and say it's Ghost or Saber because that would just not be fair to anybody. But it really isn't that great. It's whatever. It's mediocre at best. And at worst, it's just kind of boring. There was a couple of points where I was just kind of bored with it. And again, overall, it's fine. Is it great? No. Is it good? Depending on the day of the week you get me. Is it fine? Yeah, sure. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff in this show that I like, but it's not stuff that has to do with the writing. I think we can all agree. Suits were great. Music was great. Choreography was great. Cinematography was pretty fucking good for a Rider show, except for that one scene of Kaito, which was really blurry for some reason. But, like, overall, show was just fine. I think I can finally... I think this review that we did, that's about to hit 3 fucking hours, has cemented this as the review that I need from... Like, this is the review that I want to show people from now on when they say what I think of Gaim. Because honestly, my final thought of Gaim, for the fact that I'm never going to have to watch the show again, it's just fine. It's like a B-, C+, around there somewhere. I wouldn't put it any higher. I wouldn't put it any lower. It's not Wizard. It ain't Forze. It's around the middle. It's fine. It is just okay. But that's just me. Except no, it's not. It fucking sucks! Anyways.
AJ, you heathen, you didn't like Gaim. It is the perfect show. I'm going to take away everything you love.
Oh, you want to... Oh, wait, Chad. You want to hear a really fucking hot take? I'm gonna blow some fucking minds here.
Go for it.
while they're both on the same level, I like Gaim more than Build.
Oh.
In one
That's valid.
in one aspect, I think, at least when it comes to having a story go from front to end without making me think what the actual fuck is going on. I joke, obviously, when it comes to Gaim. For the most part, I knew what was going on, but with Build, there was a certain point where I just tuned out. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Gaim, at least I knew what was going on. At least I understood what the fuck was going on. It was stupid, sure, but I'd rather you know what? I'd rather something be stupid than be nonsensical. And Gaim was just dumb. So hey, I like Gaim more than Build. Yeah, suck on that, Twitter. Fucking assholes. So yeah, that's.
Oh no, AJ.
Oh no!
Popular fans
AJ,
are coming.
Oh, no.
It was
Run!
nice knowing ya, and I'm going to stay safe in my
Oh,
my
oh no,
orange
Chad,
shade
Chad!
bubble here.
Oh yeah. I
Oh
don't
no,
know,
Chad!
AJ,
Oh
I
my
don't
goodness!
They're breaking down the door.
know. Oh
They're breaking down the door!
You know what? No, AJ. Here's the thing. The thing we need to do now. We need to launch you into space.
no! Yes.
Oh, sweet.
I'll get the
I would
rocket.
Look, no, but Chad, you can't do that because also has an orbit of her own. So,
Oh.
you know.
Oh,
Woohoo!
that's.
I don't give a shit. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna cry? You gonna cry?
Yes.
Chad mogged your friend and I'll mog you too. Dab on that. Anyways, yeah, like I said, Gaim's just fine. Go watch it if you want to, but if you come at me saying it's the greatest show on earth, I'm gonna throw you into a fucking volcano, Heihachi style.
But AJ, Gaim was a
no.
great show. You heathen.
Yes, obviously, if I am against Gaim, I am automatically Satan. I'm a Satanist now, I guess, guys. Sorry.
No,
You
no,
know?
you're worse. You're Hitler.
Oh, of course. You know, Sieg Heil. Sorry, guys. You know, 8 billion. World is a fuck. 45 billion invest every day. You know, same shit. Anyways, so that's it, guys. We did Gaim. You can stop fucking asking us. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. You don't even want to know how many times Gaim was asked for on that fucking Google Doc.
You serious?
We had a few. I think from the last time I checked, because I doubt there's any more. There was about 8 people asking for us to do Gaim again, and I'm like, we did it twice already, but whatever, fuck it, let's do it again.
When did we do it the second time?
Okay, so the first time we
Well,
did
you
it
weren't
was
here.
back in 2015 with good old He Who Shall Not Be Named. And then
Oh yeah.
There's plenty who should not be named.
I
good
remember
old
that.
Voldemort. Good old Voldemort. Anyways,
Damn it, you beat
Yep.
me too.
I actually had to miss out on a pool event because of that.
And okay. Anyways, and then the second time was just Chad, Jay,
How do
and
you
I.
Because
remember that?
Dude, look, I'm pretty sure Phil remembers when he took a shit in 1995.
No.
No, I
No,
remember.
to be honest-
I remember that day specifically because I
don't
wanted to
care.
because I wanted to see my family and they were at the pool
Phil.
and I couldn't because
Why
of
are you
frickin-
doing
because
this?
of the people who shall
Why
not
do
be
you
named
do
messing
this?
up the schedule.
Why are you here?
Because I can do it. It's my thing. Damn it.
well, but
Anyways.
I think here the thing is, again, if we're gonna go off the award show logic, the lore for Phil is always expanding. In this case,
Yes.
lore Phil, according to the lore, and according to the book of Phil that I totally have here in my hands, every event he misses, he realized that would have been a life-changing moment for him. That pool party was where
So
he
what you're
became the
telling me,
greatest
Chad,
overlord
is that
of all time.
he is a.
Isn't that for everybody? Isn't that everybody's case though? The one event you miss is going to be the most important one.
Yeah. No, see, Chad, what I've learned, this is lore, obviously, is Phil is he's an who has photographic memory.
What?
Yeah.
What? Okay, the photographic memory part was the only part
I
of that
just said that
conversation
just to
that was
get him on
actually
the
So you're not
correct.
Italian?
I guess not.
You
I am
said
Italian,
you said everything
but
else
everything
was
else
I
was
know.
wrong.
But what is it, Phil?
So
Which
what
is
make
it?
you-
Are you?
make up your
What are you,
mind.
butcher now? You're lying to us now.
I'm not
just
just
lying.
Italian.
He's just
I'm
lying
also,
to us,
I'm
apparently.
also German.
He's just
and Norwegian.
he's just a fucking
also
liar. Now,
German
next
and
he's gonna tell you he's
Norwegian.
black.
Yeah.
So basically, Phil is the old joke of me being every type of Asian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that make Phil? Just every
it's
race?
not racist when we do it to Phil because because it's funny.
Well, it's not
but
racist when we do it with the
you, it's
Chad.
Well, that's true. That is true as well.
Look, we're not racist, guys.
We're not racist, but I think
God.
we should do something about the Puerto Rico. Just saying.
I don't know, guys. The Brazilians have had it good for a little too long.
No, they haven't.
Yes,
It's Brazil.
In short, everyone gets their fair share of shit.
exactly. Especially them. You know. So
You know who you are.
So with that being said, guys, next week or not next week? What the fuck am I saying? Jesus.
Next time,
we are going to be doing not Decker Ranger. I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? Look, Jay, I'm not going to spring the mystery box on you unless you want it. So
I don't want it because I already know what we're going to get.
We're ending the episode.
Hey, Phil, what if I ask for it? Because so far, 2 out of 3 times I haven't lost.
That is true.
Well, we're going to get Decker
I
Ranger.
want to rewatch
That is
Decker
actually, to be
Ranger.
fair, that is true. Both times that Chad has asked for it, he actually got shows that were not awful. And I haven't seen Decker Ranger, but I'm going to assume it's at
Or
least
shows that he liked, at least.
Well, I'm going to assume that Decker Ranger isn't
Can we
awful.
just at least do Decker Ranger?
Like from everything you and Phil have told me
it's
the past I don't know how many
fantastic.
years, I'm assuming Decker Ranger isn't bad. So he's got a track record at least.
It's
Like I said,
it's pretty good.
if there's no mystery box, I guess you guys don't want to. I guess. I think Jay's really fighting the urge. I can feel it. I can feel it.
No, I'm not for once.
We're ending the episode now.
For now,
have a
for
nice
now,
night, everybody.
About the mystery box, I'm gonna say
Don't you
no.
dare.
Let's just leave it for now. We'll do it after Decker Ranger. I've had my fun for now.
But after Decker Ranger, the mystery
thank
box will
God.
just be us spinning the wheel anyways.
It is true. That is true. But
That's just us spinning the wheel.
It's not the... That's just business as usual. Yeah.
back to the.
Well,
back to
wait
the
a minute.
road.
Well, so it's like the mystery wheel turns into the mystery box.
Yeah.
It went from a circular object to a cubicle object.
I don't know if that's.
You open up the box, and the wheel is
that
just waiting there to punch you in the face.
Is that supposed to be an
Maybe.
innuendo?
I don't know. Maybe to you.
Depends on if it's funny
You
or
fucking
not.
sex pest. Anyways,
We're definitely not stretching this out to 3
course
hours,
not.
guys.
No.
I wasn't even trying
This is-
to. It's just
this-
it just happens that way. It's Phil's
We're just-
fault.
It
Us going on a
really
tangent.
does.
It really is Phil's fault.
Oh no, Dave.
How is it always my fault, you goddamn ass?
Well, Phil, it was like that time you missed that party in 1974.
Is
where
Phil
you
now
had to
50
go
years
to
old?
get your
This is all. Now this is. We're just
This-
piling on.
How old am I? My story
Hey, no one
begins
after
back
your
in
backstory,
1980.
Phil's like-
Banjo.
Phil-
We had to say
So
so
Phil-
because
Phil
the
has
Kaiser took away
Phil
the
has
number
that Benjamin
20.
Button disease, but it never actually ends. He just keeps going back and forth forever.
Yeah, my clock is a little stulticles not
The
good.
Skibidada bada bow.
whatever.
Gabble.
It's stulticles.
This is retarded.
It's Italian.
fucking
I'm
stupid.
Italian.
This is new.
It's
There's no-
Italian,
there's-
you motherfuckers.
Shut the fuck up. Hey, Jay. Guess what?
What?
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Crunky.
By the way, if you don't see what we just did, I just kicked him out of the chat again.
I hate the fact that you keep fucking do that. In the middle of fucking recording, mind you. Why do you keep
Because
doing that?
it's
It's gonna mess up
fucking
the
funny.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay, I think we
You're,
can.
you're only
I
able
think
to
we
do
can
that because
stop recording.
I've been trying to stop for like 10 minutes. Hi,
I
everybody! Get the fuck out
I
of
blame
here!
you. Good night.
All right.